You know I'm killing it. They're hurt, I'm the one feeling it. Now they're feeling it. My enemy's fake, I'm just stealing it. Slipping on the sauce and you're messing with the boss. No one's gonna be sorry for your loss. Gallopers scheme to tell your lies. You say you won't cry, but I guarantee you will. When the bullet from a gun fucking penetrates your eye. Phil Spencer is the sniper, laughing as you die.
Fake gaming, wanna be gamer. Pretend gamer, think you got comedic skills when your comedy is a little bit lacking status. But still, so until you motherfuckers come at me with some shit, talking about some shit, understand that I got more games than you.
Holding the line until the target's aligned. These pussies are just fully clapped, the content is so benign. Set fire to the whole stable. Hoodies on the round table, wearing shoes with no label. Inbred pig has got no hair on their head. The cost of the lies that they spread in the wake of Xbox. Spending billions, not just little millies like an Aaron, their Achilles, the swords were but like 1,000 chilies. Consolidation is causing elation, except in the PlayStation Nation. Forced rectal irrigation of these bitches, busting all the stitches. You don't have the riches, leave these paupers in the fucking ditches. Celebrate, we're gonna have a party. Dance on the corpse of Colin Moriarty. Choke off the Saudis, Habibis get rowdy. Circumcise the bitch so we can all scream howdy.
When you make that kind of content, that very adversarial, you're not one of the weird like gremlins making fucking 20-minute videos about me. That alienates and isolates you from people and burns bridges.
Pour one out for the FTC and your MBGs and all my enemies. My name is Septic, yes I'm a disease and you're the one infected. Your leader has now been selected.
When you're authentic, that's why your product is successful.
When you're authentic, that's why your product is successful. When you're authentic, that's why your product is successful. When you're authentic, that's why your product is successful.
I'm late, but I'm here with these sexy individuals. Yeah, Ilias.
Hello, Habibi.
And Coisman and all the people in the chat. I'm sorry. 3-man overlay. We're trying to I was trying to sort my life out. Thank you so much, everyone. It's like back to being on Game On Day. 30 minutes almost late. And it's all my fault because I'm just terrible. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. It's going to be an epic show. I'm very, very excited to talk about, well, you know what it's all about. Ladies and gentlemen, today it's Halo time. Deadly Headley. How you doing, sir?
What is going on, my brother? It's been a while.
Yeah,
It has been a while. First time on Septic Sauce. Very, very glad to be here. First time podcasting in like a couple of months, by the way, because Xbox Series podcast is taking, at very least, a little bit of a backseat at the moment. So it's good to be back behind a mic. Very, very excited to be talking some Halo. To the point where I reached out to Gaz today, chat. It was like, we got some Halo to talk about. I can't not talk about Halo because the news has been huge. We're going to get into it. Very, very happy to be here, man.
No, likewise, I'm happy for you to be here as well, man. It's our first 3-man thing. Well, you had BG and Paris drop in that altercation. That was an impromptu 3-man thing. But this is the official 3-man thing. And last but certainly not least, Elena Kanomi Rotas. It is Ilias. How you doing, bro?
Hello, my friend. How's it going? So happy to be here once again after so many months.
Oh man, likewise. I'm happy for you to be here, bro. Was this your first time here? You've never been on Septic Sauce?
No, I have never been on Septic Sauce, but I have been on when you were doing this thing with Asa and Handheld. So I count this as the second time. It is the first time on the Septic Sauce show, but it is the second time that I am doing a podcast, livecast thing with you and at the delay.
I'm glad. Both of you gents reached out to me because you wanted to talk about Halo, and I really appreciate that because I need to talk about Halo with some Halo heads as well. And there's also a lot more to talk about as well because we've had some pretty a bit of drama as always, and some facts to break that drama or add sauce to that drama. Shout out to Sham for being a member for 7 months. He says, I blame the Series S for you being late. So do I, Shabs. Kupo, indeed. Chat, thank you so much for everyone. Let me give a shout out to everyone in the chat. I can see Game Adaptation Newscast. What's up? I've got, that's you ranting in the chat. Cult Classic Cage. Good to see you there.
Yeah, it is here. Yeah, man.
Yeah, you're a fan of Cassie. She's one of a kind. BT Maverick.
She's amazing.
Yeah, she is. Mongoose General Mike. We got Jewel Chan. Gregor Proof. Gregor Proof? What kind of name is that? A Greek name with all kinds of Greek symbols. I'll call you K96.
Chronis.
Chronis.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Chronis.
Chronis. No, not Chronis. There's another one. It was like an Nava all in like Greek letters. Navawing or something, K96. Cole Eastwood. Shout out to Cole Eastwood in the chat. Eli Zap, Serendipity, Scorpio, Georgia Oglu, and more. Molten Panda. Yeah, good to see you. Nariko, I see you there. Phantom Death, I see you. MVP Gamer Skills. Good to see you. Thank you so much for joining. And yeah, look, last week when I did this, I introduced this new section where I wanted to get people to know the people who are appearing on these shows. So a little bit of introductions. Let me start off with Deadly Headley. Tell us your journey from when you were a fetus. No, not when you were a fetus, but just if you can summarize a little bit about yourself.
With a twinkle in my dad's eye. So do you want to do gaming stuff, content stuff, or both?
Let me lead with some questions first. So first of all, where are you from?
I am from about an hour outside of London, so not actually
far
that far
from me.
You guys.
Oh shit!
Not
Come on, bro. Well, have you not linked up?
Pretty sure you've been my ends or close to anyway. I remember you mentioning robots that you saw on the side of a street in Milton Keynes once. I want to say Game On Daily, and I see those on my drive home from work quite frequently.
That's so weird.
They are trippy and crazy. It is weird. It is
so
really weird.
He's in the future. So in Milton Keynes, they have these Amazon delivery robots that deliver parcels, and I was just like, "What the hell is that?" That was like Johnny Five just going down. It's crazy. Milton Keynes is and it's like a bit of kind of, I don't know. It's like an industrial type of town or what?
Yeah, so I don't live in Milton Keynes, but I sort of work nearby to it. But it's Milton Keynes is a fairly new town. Like fairly, I say new development. It went up in, I want to say the 70s, but like if you know the UK at all, most of its settlements are pretty old. Like a town born in the 70s is what we consider like fairly new as far as massive public developments go. But yeah, I mean, where I live isn't really that interesting. You kind of want to know what I did while I was living there. So I tell you what, we'll give you a little bit of background and top line from me. So if you don't know who I am, or you haven't seen any of my content or podcasting or anything like that, I have been on YouTube for I want to say about a year and a half.
Young hatchling in the space of the internet.
Very, very, very.
Baby.
And I very proud of myself for doing this. Made a bit of a splash. Which was really awesome, and the community has been super welcoming, so thank everybody for that as well. I grew up loving games journalism, loving games generally, just absolutely obsessed with video games for as long as I can remember. Fuck it, we'll go the professional route and then we'll talk about the gaming route. So you might not know this about me, was a high school dropout by the time I got to my A-levels. I fucked them up spectacularly. So there were two things that I really, really loved, or three things I really, really loved. Writing,
drugs
/ English literature in general.
Yeah.
And therefore reading as well. Video games and music. That was it. Obsessed with all of those things.
Video games.
Bit of skateboarding as well.
Music.
Video games and music.
Video games and music.
Writing.
And writing.
Yeah, in terms of like being at school, Writing was always the thing that I really enjoyed, and reading as well. I wasn't really that much good at much else. And fast forward towards the end of my career at high school, this is kind of where things sort of went wrong, and I basically had to sort of recorrect everything. But the beautiful thing is it's inadvertently left me here, because what's happened is I've picked up a bunch of skills, sort of learning how to do the things that I now really enjoy doing and do for a living. Okay. And eventually manifested that into YouTube. So I fucked up my A-levels dramatically. I ended up coming out with 1 AS in English and failed everything else. My teachers let me take that to A2, which I think is probably the equivalent of like finishing your SATs, but in one subject rather than, I don't know how the American system works. We don't need to get into that. And I left school with very few qualifications that would take me further. And I was at a bit of a crossroads. I could either go and get probably a dead-end job and be really fucking dissatisfied with the hand that I'd left school with, or go and learn how to do something different. So I'm guessing you know where Amersham is, because it's not that far from London.
Yep.
There's a college in Amersham I went to, and I studied music there, which is really, really cool.
Oh, cool.
I got to do things like music performance, production, industry, learned a hell of a lot, and got to play with a hell of a lot of like music editing tools, video editing tools, all that sort of stuff. Basically learning how to make media.
And then how did you get your
when
first
I finished
job?
there, so after I finished college, I had the equivalent of the A-level grades that I would need to go off to university in the UK. And I, again, was at a bit of a crossroads, didn't really know what to do. My tutor said to me, you really like English and writing, and you're good at it, and you really like music. Did you know that you can do music journalism at university? And my exact words were, fuck off, really? To which her response was, yeah, you actually can. So I looked into that. And eventually went to go and study music journalism and broadcasting at a university in the UK. And I got to do a lot more fun shit with things like film editing and all that sort of stuff, as well as obviously a lot of copywriting, learning how to actually be a journalist professionally. Little bit of like work experience here and there, including T3 magazine, which was really cool.
Oh, I remember T3 magazine. That was is that
really,
still
really
going?
Cool. No, it's not. I think it morphed into Tech Radar. Interestingly enough, there was probably a point where Jez Corden and I may have crossed paths. I don't know.
Cross swords?
There was a good chance that he was working. Maybe swords, probably more parts. I don't know, but I know he was. I think he's still part of Future PLC, which is what.
How did you get your first job? Like, so what was your first job?
All right, okay, so...
What's your current
first
job?
Ever or first job post-uni?
Actually, what's your current job? So, what do you do now? What do people... Right. If you go on this, because you'll tell us your whole life story, I want to know you right now. What is it that you do?
All right, I am a graphic designer for a living. I work for an advertising agency, which I'm not going to dox, because I've had to play with its website and it's beautiful because I fucking made it. Specifically, I specialize in things like UX, UI, and UI design, but I love graphic design, and that was something that I really sort of picked up while I was studying at university. Fast forward a few years after working as a designer, I combined all of those journalistic skills, my love of video games, editing, making nice shit, and turning it into YouTube. Now I'm here.
How you
can wake up now. Sorry about that.
Elias looks like he's about to kill himself.
No,
I'm joking.
It's not fine, actually. But as long as you're still with us.
Are you there, Elias? Are you okay? Malaga, are you awake?
We good?
I'm here. I'm here.
But before I go to Elias's background, I just want to say you've been on YouTube for about, you said, a year and a half, Deadly.
About a year and a half, yeah.
If you sum it up in a few words, what would you say your experience has been like?
It is fun. It is a real learning curve, and I've had to learn quite a lot very quickly in terms of speeding up my workflow. Coming up with ideas consistently is very, very challenging, especially when you're still doing things like a full-time job and all that sort of stuff. It's like when life comes at you fast, and YouTube comes at you fast. It's it's a lot. I love it. I do love it. It's a really fun way of like
expressing yourself,
giving yourself a voice, having a platform, expressing yourself. Absolutely, being creative in different ways. And I know it's something you've really loved exploring as well. And like you have a lawyer background. I've always embraced creativity to some point. What was your experience in terms of exploring your creative side at school? Was that something that you nurtured pre-YouTube, or was it sort of?
Yeah, no, in loads of different ways. For me, creativity was in all sorts of different ways. I did start YouTube quite a few years ago. Then I stopped live stuff, and it's I could do this full time, I reckon, but it'd be very different. But there will be some. You'll see some changes actually on this channel as well, and the content, because I'm well. It's not about me. It's about you guys. I'm a bit conscious about talking about myself. Rantic Greek Gamer, let's talk about you, sir. You have a harem of different women. You have your own brothel. You are on the national crime statistics for. I'm so sorry, I don't want to.
What are you talking about,
Rantic Greek Gamer. Sorry, man. None of that was true.
Asking about baby oil.
What were you? If you're going to sum up your experience, say just a snapshot in 30 seconds from tiny spam cell to who you are now. Well, how would you sum it up?
Anyway, I live in a city that is close to Athens, Greece.
Oh, okay.
I started YouTube since 2013.
Okay.
So I have been doing this for a very, very long time. I have been doing this for like 11 years.
Damn.
My channel revolves around gaming and live streaming and doing videos like you and things like that. So gaming has been my whole life.
That's amazing.
Because as I was growing up, I found out that I had this stuttering issue with my voice, and that didn't go very well with my social life, because you know how people can people can be when they see something different. They either embrace it or they ostracize it. They keep it away. So video games were my happy place for from a very young age. Okay. And it continued to be for a very long time. Funny thing is that I never planned to be a full-time YouTuber, which I am now. But in 2013, at the beginning of 2013 in February, what happened is that I had a very bad accident at my job, which was a heavy lifting job.
Oh shit!
And I got a very bad accident happening to my lower back, which changed my life completely, because back then I was doing bodybuilding, I was doing kickboxing, and I was doing and I was doing a lifestyle which I loved very, very much. So in just one day, my whole life changed, and I was in pain for like 5 years. And during that time, I knew that they were going, because I knew that they were going to kick me out from my job because I couldn't do it anymore. And I also had to find something to alleviate the pain. And I started doing YouTube videos. I started with gameplays, then I started with vlogs. And when GTA 5 came out, I was probably the only gaming channel in Greece where I was doing gameplay videos of GTA 5.
Oh, okay.
So things took off, and in 2017, at the end of the year, I got kicked out of my job, and I started doing YouTube as a full-time job.
Wow, amazing.
It has been my full-time job since 2018. And you know, after you are doing this thing for such a long time, yeah, you keep doing it. Right now, I can't imagine myself, you know, doing something else, because I really love games. Really do.
But that's really good, because I was expecting you to say, I've been doing it for a very long time and I'm not interested in doing it, because people go through the lulls where you get sick of it or whatnot, but you still enjoy games a lot, and you love talking about games a lot, which is really good.
I do. I do. I think the good thing about being a gaming YouTuber is that you never run out of things to talk about ever. I mean, you keep having new content and new things to say to your audience every single time.
Yeah, no, it's really good, and if you broaden your audience as well, you'll have a lot more to talk about on a lot of different topics, which is what if you saw with Game On Daily. It's for me, it's not like having a solo stream all the time and just talking to myself. It's always about talking to other fellow content creators. So it's really good to get your both of your views on it. It's very different, so very, very different. But both of you try to find your path in life. With you, Ilyas, you've been struck with pretty life-changing problems, but you've utilized that to hone in on your passion. So So everyone's got their own gaming story, and it's really nice. And I really like and this is what the whole point is, trying to, because a lot of people on the internet will just see you as a caricature, especially with me. Have you seen? We'll talk about some of the clips that are going around, but people don't understand. But there's a lot more to it, and we also make that mistake where. I feel like I make that mistake where I'll, look at some users and they typically with their anime profile pictures, I'm like, this guy's never had sex in his life and he never will, so I shouldn't really make those snap judgments. But it's hard when you have an anime PFP. I'm sorry, people, if you're listening and you've got an anime PFP, you're always the weird ones. Always the weird ones. But yeah, shout out to 150 in the chat. Shout out to Nick Marseille, speaking of weird ones, and also the bold ones. Good to see you there.
Hey, oh my God.
This guy perpetually lives in my shadow. But I appreciate you for it. One day we'll have a show back and forth and I'll get to destroy him orally. That sounds wrong. That sounds.
I really like the tit for tat between you guys. It's. I hope it lasts. I think it's spectacular. It's the rivalry we needed in 2024 because it's no longer Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah, it's not. And I'm fighting valiantly to make things interesting on the platform wars front. So, yeah, shout out to Cole in the chat as well. Good friends with Nick Marseille. Not. But yeah. So, before we get into the Halo topic, we have to talk about Metaphor ReFantazio. Or Fantasio. I always call it ReFantazio. I was playing it today as well. This game for Sega Atlus. Releasing a JRPG and having marketing rights with Xbox has. Some people just don't want that at all. Some people took it personally. Mighty King just struggled with the notion that Xbox dare just get marketing, not even exclusivity, just marketing. And Mighty Keith was concerned. He was so concerned about what this would mean for poor old Sega Atlus. Have I dropped something? No. Yeah, he was worried about it, or what's going to happen. He said, "Oh my God, Atlus are terrible at marketing this game, and no one cares about Xbox and JRPGs." And all his friends, thought that the game was an Xbox exclusive. So he was imploring everyone to get this game because he was so worried. And I was like, don't worry, Mighty Keith. Don't, bless your heart and your cholesterol-ridden arteries. Don't worry, because I'm sure it will work out. And then before you know it, you've got this game dominating on Steam. It's and this surprises me, completely eclipsed the likes of Final Fantasy, which is weird to me, man. Like just like, yo, that's like this it goes to there's a lot of narratives to be, and I'm going to pick on you guys on what that means. And then of course Atlus then also confirmed that this is the fastest selling Atlus game ever. And all I said was, yo, Mike Keith, you can relax now. A little gif. And he went crazy. You have no understanding, reading comprehension, this and that. Followed by your Nick Marseilles and all your, bottom of the barrel PlayStation trolls. And he's just there vilifying Xbox fans while simultaneously being supported by the biggest PlayStation zealots out there. And it was glorious. His tears, his veneer of his mask cracked. And we all finally realized, or I did realize this ages ago, but the proof was out there. Mighty Keith, all this time, has just been playing himself in his videos. He is the fanboy that he's been mocking on these screens. It's not even self-deprecating to the point of self-awareness. He's been self-deprecating without even realizing it. Proper method acting, but it was hilarious. The discourse was quite fun. I'm not even sure how much this would have sold on the Xbox. Typically, you can't imagine that to be that high. But one of the issues when he first tweeted this out a couple of weeks ago, or maybe last week, was that a lot of people, and it wasn't just him, let's be fair to him, there were some other people on the corners of the internet who were saying, well then, because Xbox is so irrelevant, why are you doing this? To which I responded, well, are you resigning this platform to being defeated or completely excluded in the conversation of JRPGs? Like, what is it? Well, is it a bad move on Atlus? I'll ask you, Deadly, for them to advertise, to elect or take the money bag from Xbox to market this game? Is it?
No, not at all. And so to preface this, I don't know a lot about Atlus generally. I'm not a JRPG guy. They're sort of like kind of like Marmite, aren't they? Like you either really love them or you're not that bothered. And I sort of fall into the latter camp. But specifically on the Xbox marketing rights, there was a point that Randall Thor made on his podcast with Jazz last night, whereby the thinking behind it is that Atlus's audience is largely going to be on PlayStation. They're already fully aware that this game's coming. Xbox is trying to make a much bigger footprint in Japan and elsewhere and build its audience for JRPG players. It's got to make some noise about it. I don't think there's a problem here, and it sold clearly very well anyway. It's a good thing. It's a good thing for Atlus. It's a good thing for Xbox. There's no harm done, clearly, because it sold really well and everyone's loving it. There's no harm in it.
I think it's quite funny that of all the games, this one had to be the best-selling Atlus game, which thoroughly crushes any narrative of any damage or so-called damage that Xbox marketing was done. And then actually, the one time Xbox does really good marketing, it seems to be for third-party titles. They did this for Persona when Persona was coming in. They had big banners, big splashes, but they don't do it for their own games, or very, very muted. Ilias, have you played Metaphor ReFantazio? Did you see this discourse about this marketing, and what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, before I came to your stream, I was actually playing the game on my Xbox, and for my audience, it is an amazing game. It is a great game. It has a bit of a... It starts up a little bit slowly, but it becomes better. as you go on. It is a great game, lots of things to uncover, lots of things to do, lots of depth. As for the marketing stuff, as long as the game sells, as long as the game it is a success on Steam, actually what I read it is that it is a much bigger success than Final Fantasy 16 ever was, from what I read actually. So the game is great and it is going great now. As for Xbox marketing, I think that they still have a whole lot to learn.
Themselves, absolutely. As
they
a company,
have a whole lot to learn, and they are still not doing things right, and they have to learn and market their stuff a little bit better, or a whole lot better, actually. And I don't think that there is any harm done. The game is great and it runs great and people are going to play it, whether it is on Steam or on Xbox or on PlayStation. So I don't think that there is any harm done here. But if I would be critical about something, since Microsoft was supposed to do the marketing for that game, I mean, they should market their games or the games that they are supposed to market anyway, like 1 month before or two, or be a bit more aggressive with their marketing, because they need to do more. They need to do a whole lot more. I mean, if you remember, last year they were marketing Sea of Thieves for the PlayStation 5 so much better than they were marketing their own shit.
Yeah.
I mean, my God, who is in charge there of the whole marketing thing?
I don't know.
Could do better, and they are not doing better. That is my issue.
Bro, it's an issue that eludes common sense. I have no idea, but it's funny that they advertise third parties better, and they advertise Sea of Thieves was doing better, more organic advertising on PlayStation. It was terrible. Let me catch up with these super chats, but beforehand, one in particular, bro, the highest super chat I've ever received, I think ever, even on Game On Daily. And
oh my God,
bro, this is when you've got, I'll tell you, I'm gonna play some appropriate music. Yo, H2O with a $200 super chat, man. This is love and peace, gents. Gaz, why do I get the feeling Sony and Apple have been cooking something for some time? Sony and Apple? They're the same company now, bro. They take the piss in the exact same way. P.S. That opening song with you dressed in our local attire will always have me in stitches. From UAE with love. Oh my God, that Dubai money. I'm in the wrong country. Yo, thank you so much, H2O. And if you like that, watch this space, because Dead Ponies, the sequel, is in the works. You can wonder who is going to be featuring in that. But bro, bro, that's a lot of money, man, and appreciate the support as well, and also allowing me to wear that though. Arabs don't take it seriously. Some people are like, you're not Arab. When I was doing it, like, why would they would take it seriously? I'm like, bruv, you think you Arabs will love me wearing that shit? And this is evidence here. Shout out to H2O, man. That's really generous of you. As for Sony and Apple, have been cooking sometime. You know, eventually, if Sony don't manage to do this shit, like withstand the, because it's number one platform, but in the future where we move away from platforms, there's this idea that it's not sustaining. The Sony as a corporation may get swallowed up by Apple, and you know what, the reason why they say it is because they're the same company, bros. It's the same mentality, same premium pricing, and the same kind of fanboy rhetoric. You see that? They're the same. Percy Pringle's being remembered for 2 months. Thank you so much, guys. Metaphor ReFantazio is the only game he's looking forward to this year. Insanely talented team. I'm glad the team and the game is getting the recognition they deserve. Percy, you were spot on. In fact, thank you for that chat actually reminds me, Sega Atlus have been producing games. Like, how many games have they produced in the last few years? Like, loads. They just churned out loads of games, and they're just doing it effortlessly. Whereas with other studios, you have to contend with 5-year dev cycles between games. So it's pretty. And Percy, if I am remiss to remember, you were an Xbox fan, right? How dare you look forward to JRPGs on Xbox, huh? Shout out to Colt Eastwood in the chat. He goes, the Steam sales were up, and they used that as ammo that Xbox marketing didn't work. Are you serious? But it proves that it didn't make people think it was exclusive. This is there's so many points wrong with Mighty Keith. First of all, it's concerned trolling his bollocks. 2, his 4 friends don't mean the world. 3, he's worried about Atlus's marketing. Then 4, at least admit it. Then say I was wrong. But he can't say that. And instead he doubled down being a fanboy, which just completely kills his craft and the manner in which he tries to pretend he's neutral. I don't pretend I'm neutral, but he does. And this is the problem. Like, Mike Keith, you're one of the biggest fanboys, propping and quote tweeting biggest Sony fanboys, and that's what you are. And you're gonna get absolutely in my video. I can't wait to destroy you, bro. Don't block me like you've been blocking everyone. He's been blocking everyone now. We've just been referencing this whole affair. But I also, on Colt Eastwood's point, saw what's that fucking weird Red Karen. He was just like, oh, look at the reviews on the PlayStation versus the number of reviews. 80 times more people bought. It's like, just shut the fuck up. Also, I have to give a shout out to one of the most generous members, or the most generous, or one of the most, I don't even know anymore. Shabs just gave out. He goes, did you say Metaphor ReFantazio? Well, here you go. Metaphor ReFantazio, Xbox and PC Play Anywhere code. Whoever got that, please let me know, because that is very, very generous of Shabs. And the Play Anywhere point is amazing, because I'm playing it on Xbox and I'm trying to repair my Steam Deck. Well, can I play on Steam Deck? I don't think so, but I can play on my PC. I don't think it's that demanding. So yeah, I want to talk about the game itself, because I've been playing it. I loved Persona 5, but never completed it. And I remember at the time, I was like, please, I just wish this was more mobile, handheld at the time. And then, go back to the game, and you're like, oh, and now I have to start. I don't know what's happened. With this game, I'm going to stick with it, because if I do bounce between games, I'll never go and complete it. Metaphor ReFantazio is just really... The characters haven't grabbed me yet. And Ilias, you were talking about the fact that it's a slow burn. I'm still doing the prologue. I've got the game.
Yeah.
But I'm coming to the point where in the prologue, it's pretty much finished. It's like it only limits you to 3 days. And you have to... well, okay, not give spoilers here. The characters... how do I say this without... okay, well... Basically, you've got. I'll say this: you've got your. You can. It's not a spoiler. You can use your sword as a hoverboard. That's kind of where I've unlocked that bit, and some things happen in story-wise. I'm not grabbed by the characters yet. Like, it's. I love the fact that it's anime cutscenes straight to gameplay. I love those. Just it makes me feel like it's in an anime, which is. I just watched Boy and the Heron, by the way. Sorry, this is a little bit of a divergent thing, but watch Boy and the Heron. It's on Netflix. I don't know if it's on everywhere, but it is in the UK. Incredible Studio Ghibli anime. But I like the combat system in this as well. And the combat system is really cool. And it shows that while Square has been focusing so much on trying to get away from turn-based stuff to get more people into liking their game, this turn-based title, and it's not, well, it is turn-based for the most part. The way it does encounters is you see enemies there, you can choose to engage with the normal mobs either through just basic combat with yourself, like basic attacks, or if they start, or they're depending on their rank, you can get engaged as a party and fight them, and it goes into turn-based mode. And we saw this with, sorry, I know I'm talking so much, but just trying to establish this point. We saw this with the other game. Was it Clear Obscure 33? What was that weird freaking name for this? It's not even. It's a JRPG. The chat will know.
It is an upcoming game.
Upcoming game. Yeah, turn-based RPG, 33 Clear Obscure something. What is it called? Expedition 33. That's it. Thank you.
Expedition 33. Yeah.
Thank you, chat. X-Fleet, okay, Santi. Let's see you, okay, Santi. Expedition 33, and everyone saw that, and I saw that, and I was like, yo, that looks so good. And the reason why that turn-based stuff looks so good was just the way it was presented with the camera panning really quickly. And it was just subtle changes, which goes to show that turn-based shouldn't be maligned. Even I I actually appreciated, even with Final Fantasy 16, what they were trying to do a Devil May Cry kind of combat system. But I enjoy the turn-based stuff now, and I think Square may need to reconsider, or if they're happy with the Final Fantasy 7 system, but they may need to reconsider their attitude to turn-based, because I think maybe it's coming back. Maybe I'm wrong, gents.
Baldur's Gate 3 completely changed my outlook on turn-based. Like, I didn't have the patience for turn-based growing up, which I think is why I never really vibed with Final Fantasy. But I'm obsessed with Baldur's Gate 3. I still haven't finished it. I've nearly finished. I've gotten stuck on an unredacted enemy, because I'm not going to spoil it. And I need to go and figure that out. But I already want to play it again. And again, this is coming from someone who doesn't really like turn-based, doesn't massively, or never really clicked with the type of game that Baldur's Gate 3 is, but I'm obsessed with it. I think it's coming back. I think it's probably got a lot to do with the demographic that games are targeting now as well. I think, turn-based is quite a chilled vibe. I think it's a little bit
like
more
that.
easygoing.
Yeah,
I do.
Especially for me. Sorry, go ahead.
Because I have been playing JRPG since Final Fantasy VII back on the PlayStation 1 and Chrono Trigger on the Super
Remember Chrono
NES.
Trigger, bro?
Oh my God, amazing, man. Yeah, amazing games. And I have no problem with the turn-based games, and I didn't have any issue with the combat system in Final Fantasy 16. I actually, me and my friends, we actually liked that combat system a whole lot, simply because we were coming up with different gameplay builds and things like that. And Final Fantasy VII Rebirth has a great combat system also. But when you play an RPG on a turn-based mode, you don't have as much anxiety as when you are playing a game which has action segments in it.
And I was playing it when I was working, so I found that was quite a unique thing. Totally pause. I don't have to pause it. The music's playing. I'm working, and I don't have that anxiety of, it's always there playing in your head. Stop, pause. Let me do some work, and it's really hard. I have the music playing, turn-based combat, and just like go in, continue. It's I think people's tastes are changing.
So it is a much more relaxed experience in opposed playing an RPG that has action combat systems. It's great. It's fine. I hope that Square will do something like that, but I get the
for the mainline games, you mean? For the mainline?
Yeah, but I get the feeling that now they have schooled their audience so much in this action-based, semi-turn-based, semi-action-based thing that they are doing with their game. So
you're saying that there's a risk that if they do go back to turn-based games, they might lose some of the new audience they've got?
Maybe because if that new audience has gotten used to let's say Final Fantasy VII Rebirth's combat system, I don't know how they are going to see a new Final Fantasy game that is completely turn-based. They might like it actually, people who are more, like
The core, hardcore.
old school, like me, like
yeah.
fucking old man, like
we're all the same.
So,
We're all older.
But I don't know. But to be honest, I would really like to see Square. I would really like to see them making a JRPG that is turn-based. I would really like them to see that.
I think it would do well.
I think that it would do well. But just like with Halo, which we will talk about later, times have changed, and things are not the way they used to. So,
I like what you're saying there, because that also I wanted to get, and we'll get into Halo in a bit. But I think you raised really good points there, and I do think actually, because Jess Corden was here a couple of weeks ago, and he was saying the reason why he thinks, and I think he's on the money here, the reason why he thinks Final Fantasy as a series is dwindled is because hardcore old people like us and hardcore fans of the series don't identify with it anymore, because they've made so many different changes and trying to appeal to so many different markets. You can't even rely on the old hardcore fans to evangelize this brand or have an affinity with the mainline Final Fantasy games, because they've changed so much, unless you really like it and do like the changes as well. So what you might actually see is a lot of people come back, or Square Enix actually looking at the Atlus's success here, and looking at the Expedition 33, and then seeing a lot of success there, and think, you know what, maybe we should consider going back to it, because we're now having this disparate kind of fan base in a dwindling fan base, and very few of the hardcore Final Fantasy faithful are holding on to the spirit of Final Fantasy, or have as much love for it, because we keep doing so many different things and kind of pissing them off, which is going to be an interesting challenge for 343 or Halo Studios, I should call it. By the way, shout out to Epic Treasure in the chat and Special Nick, you malagas. Also, I love the fact that Stage 1X said the Nightwave Radio Spotify. I'm going to shameless plug. It's a playlist that I curate every week just to get the right saucy vibes. Very EDM, but also a little Spotify play. So check out Nightwave Radio as well. Just type in Nightwave Radio.
Can I make a little request? Can you get that shit on Apple Music, please?
I don't know how to do that.
Okay.
I don't know how to do it. It's because I use Spotify, and I don't know how to, because I maintain the.
I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't looked into it.
But I will figure it out. I am trying. Some people
Apple Music fans.
I'm sorry, Apple Music fans, but you're like PlayStation fans, so you deserve to be treated that way. Metaphor, but on the metaphor ReFantazio thing, the game is selling well. Mighty Keith may be crying in bed, actually vindictive, and I was like, damn it, why did it have to be so decisively well played, while saying I'm so happy it's doing well? But it is doing well. Whether or not any appreciable number of Xbox players are playing it, I don't know. All I know is I know a lot of Xbox fans are now talking about Metaphor ReFantazio, and I do feel that the circles that I go surrounded with, they've always wanted Persona games, and they've always wanted these games. And whilst Xbox may not be the platform that you associate with JRPGs, big part of it, and I'm sorry you might call it copia, but the big part of it is because of Sony's exclusionary practice of mainline Final Fantasy games that removed any chance of any association of Xbox with JRPGs. And also Xbox's anemia and lackluster actually catering for or making the platform inviting for JRPGs and making JRPGs, other than, I mean, we can still point to Lost Odyssey and Blue Dragon as just exceptions in the 360 gen. So it's not just PlayStation's fault. I don't really say it's their fault. It's PlayStation are doing what they're doing. I don't like money hunting, but they're being aggressive as hell. But that's business, and Sony know how to do business in the console space. Xbox just didn't really figure it out until very late in the game, or inconsistently. And I feel like it's now a necessity, and it's very positive for Xbox fans to see this, to see Xbox put real marketing might behind the Japanese RPGs, and like either putting them in Game Pass with the Persona games or just marketing them. There's also shatters this notion that Xbox won't be able to get marketing rights on games it doesn't put on Game Pass, because here you go. This is a big marketing push from Xbox, and a proper one, at least in Japan. And yeah, and it's a success, and it's a success it can try and, well, it can associate itself with, just by virtue of the marketing rights. Whether or not, again, we need to see. I question how many Xbox fans did buy that game. It may be a decent amount, or that Sega may be happy with, but steps, baby steps and incremental steps, beginning of changing that narrative, at least, is what Metaphor ReFantazio represents for Xbox. And let's see if they carry on doing that. But yeah, doing the 360, says Leo Lion, Xbox used to get exclusives. Yeah, they did a quite good job, and look where they were, and look how they ended up. Xbox has been a very confusing platform, which I will bring up at the end, one of the final topics on this. Now we're an hour in, and I've been dying to talk about Halo, man. Out of nowhere, although shout out to Cole, who told me, by the way, on Sunday there's going to be a big news drop on Halo. I think he was following Rebs Gaming or something, Rebs Gaming, and he seems to be on point, because he said it was going to happen, and it did. I didn't expect it, because other than Cole saying it, I'm like, oh, okay. And then I didn't expect this much of a reveal. On Sunday, out of nowhere, during the Halo Championship tournament, we got the look, and I was wondering, how long is it going to be until we see Halo? And that day before that, we were talking about Halo, about, you know, what the future is, what went wrong, and a lot of questions got answered. So a lot of people very dismissive initially about Halo even working on Unreal Engine, and that's happened. So I'm gonna cut this topic up into a few things. First of all, Halo Studios 343 is dead. The name is gone, and the logo replaced with something that a 5-year-old drew. But it just looks so. You're a graphic designer, Deadly. Come on, man. That looks like ass. It looks straight ass.
I don't love it. I don't love it. I actually let me get a visual reference up so I can actually look at it properly and critique it with professionalism instead of talking out of my anus.
What I also do is I will get the Halo. This is why I was late, chat. I was trying to
let's get some footage
on, and I'll do it as well. A new dawn. It's a new dawn. It's a new day. Where is it? How do I do this? Bastardo Malagas Catenas. Where is it? There we go. I think it works. Oh my god, my PC's smoked. I'll put some captions on there as well, so you guys can see. I think it's working, chat.
So
yeah.
This actually, let me just check the feed. Oh, I'm a little bit behind.
If you can hear me, chat. Actually, you know, chat. Sorry, I'm gonna make some memes and drag this here so I can see the chat. That's my PC up. I need a new PC bad. What have I done? Oh shit, what have I done? Okay, chat. I'm going to make some memes. Here we go.
We've lost us, but the footage is fine. There we go.
What the flip? Okay, I think we're good. Chat, let us know if it's working.
It looks good.
Yeah?
It looks good.
Yeah. All right, let's go for it. Go for it.
Okay. Do you want to talk about the logo?
Yeah, first of all, what I'm going to say, forget the logo. The logo's ass. But don't even say it's not ass. It is ass. But I when it was announced, I said, rest in peace 343, hello Halo Studios. And a lot of people are like, oh, it's the same shit. But it's not the same shit. The same shit that has been a problem that has afflicted Halo, that has resulted in... Well, I have to do a recap. Since 343 took over Halo, you had Halo 4, 5, and 6. These are the three... Infinite, sorry. 3 games that they took under their banner. And it was Bonnie Ross who was leading the charge. She was the head of 343. And she had very lofty aims with what she wanted to do. And one of the things she said, which I will never forget, as far as Halo is concerned, she wanted to be the George Lucas of the the gaming space with regard to Halo. And they never delivered fully. With Halo 4, there were touches of brilliance. Halo 4 was a visually fantastic title because, I've always maintained that Halo needs to look good. And it does. It did with Halo 4. Halo 4 was beautiful. It has aged so well that you could play it now, and some bits of it look still better than Halo Infinite.
Have you played it on MCC recently? In 4K, the works. The shebang is fucking beautiful, dude. It's amazing. A good looking game.
I made a video called Halo Master Chief Collection is incredible. I think I did it last year or something for Game On Daily. And, bro, I was so shocked. I'm like, this has aged so well. And Halo games, even under Bungie, they haven't typically always been the best lookers consistently. Halo Reach was great, but wasn't a looker. And Halo 4 was a 360 game, man. Like, so crazy. So in terms of visuals, it fell off. In terms of story, it was brilliant, especially if you read books by Greg Bear like I did. And I was like, this is getting the vibes really well. And then the multiplayer was a fundamental failure by 343. A fundamental failure where they basically copied Call of Duty and the whole zeitgeist there with the class system. And that left a big question mark around about whether or not 343 can do what is arguably the most important part. To be
slightly fair to 343.
Careful what you say, bro. Careful what you say, bro.
Very slightly.
Yeah.
The class system came with Reach and then continued into 4, but it was a bit Marmite for Reach fans as well. But Halo 4's multiplayer fundamentally broke something that didn't, or tried to fix something that wasn't broken.
That class system in Halo Reach was very different though, with its power-up abilities were very different to, say, Halo 4's multiplayer, which was basically like a COD type loadout system with the different nades and stuff and all of that. Whereas with Halo Reach, you had pretty cool abilities. I think Halo Reach is held in high regard and high esteem with some, especially with the invasion game mode. It was still Halo.
I forgot about that.
And that's what I'm saying, man.
Yeah.
Like, and that after like invasion,
the campaign as well, bro. The campaign for Reach as well was just that was the master stroke for Bungie, because that was their swan song, wasn't it? That was the one.
Yeah, I remember that trailer coming out of nowhere.
Anyone else pick this up?
Oh my days! Damn, that's a beast-looking thing.
It's my hands down one of my favorite pieces of
porn.
Halo limited
Chat, if you listen to his porn collection on screen. On Spotify. No, it was. We can't see it because it's on your table.
Yeah, this came with Dr. Halsey's diary, like a replica of Dr. Halsey's diary.
Deadly, I am sorry to interrupt. I had the same thing and I sold it last month.
Oh, you sold it last month?
Yeah.
How much did you sell it for? How much did you sell it for?
£60.
Bruh, what the hell are you doing?
Sentimentally, it's worth more than that to me.
I know.
If you held on for a few more years, you're gonna go double that. Oh shit. Okay. All right. Let me just switch to single cam, and then I will bring this footage up as well because I can't see the chat. I need 3 more screens, it seems. And I want to know whether it's actually working, because my anxiety is telling me the chat's disappeared. Where are we? Here we go. Is it working? Chat has many question marks. Why are there so many question marks? I think people are surprised at your sale price at £60 for selling it. I think, Elias, you may have been.
Chat is going to kill me, okay?
Bro. But so Halo Reach, Swan Song, Halo 4 comes out, great looking title, single player is good, multiplayer was a big question mark. I remember around it because like that's arguably the most important part of it, and that's the true test of whether or not you can do a good Halo game. And then they did it with Halo 5. With Halo 5, they took multiplayer and you know why I really loved about Halo 5? They covered all the bases. Arena-based stuff, Warzone, which was an incredible game mode, which is ridiculous that we didn't see anything even remotely similar like that in Halo Infinite. This big player versus player / PvE element in these large player zones with multiple players, because they realized, because the spirit of Halo is in multiplayer, is this big team battle on crack. That's what Warzone was. And then even they still gave you arena mode, which was amazing, man. That was really good. Like the round-based stuff was really good. The player.
There's one thing they missed though. Halo 5 didn't launch with Big Team Battle.
That was a big.
Wait.
No, I don't think it did.
With Big Team Battle and no maps? Or no, it didn't.
I don't think it did.
It was entirely. It was Forge-made maps only for Big Team Battle. And Big Team Battle was always that was the cornerstone for Halo's multiplayer for me. It was all about like the vehicular chaos that came with it. Like I love Arena, don't get me wrong, but Big Team is so much fun.
Yeah. Breakout Special Nick. Sorry, when I say Arena,
chat didn't launch with Forge either.
Yeah, so Breakout, Special Nick is what I was actually talking about when I said Arena. I meant Breakout. Breakout was really cool, and I loved what they did with the player movement stuff, the clamor, the armor stuff. Like there was a weight to this character, and then I discovered there are a whole bunch of freaking moron Halo fans who will cry about every evolution, and that revealed to me. And this may be quite. You may be one of those I shouldn't say moron, but purists, I should say, who are anti-sprint, anti-ADS as well, and anti-clamber, all of those things. And I was like, bro, this is a challenge for the studio, because with Halo 5, while they did, but then they had the opposite problem, because their campaign for this game revolved so much on the single player, so much on Agent Locke, so much on the so-called adversarial anti-Master Chief Spartan. He's got beef with another Spartan. Great setup. This is set out to something epic. A whole new team of Spartans are hunting Master Chief, and you get to play as them. And then the story pans out in the most horrible, kind of misleading almost way, where Agent Locke ends up giving him a hug at the end, and it's just like and I liked Agent Locke, and there was so much you could do with that, but they didn't do it. And then there was the worst campaign in Halo history was delivered with Halo 5, just like with Halo 4 was the worst.
The thing that really bothered me about that was that the marketing campaign for Halo 5's campaign was so fucking good. So Hunt the Truth was an amazing excerpt. It was so good. It was so well done. It had was it Keegan-Michael Key as the main voice actor in that. And I mean, chat, if you haven't heard it, you really go and should. You find it just by googling Hunt the Truth Halo. It was basically a podcast done by a journalist talking about a conspiracy theory that was that he was trying to unravel within Oni, and basically egregious information suppression. The main character in there was the war photographer that took the photo of the cover art on Halo 2. The last time Chief was well, actually, no, it wasn't the last time Chief was on Earth, because he was
Halo 3
back there on Halo 3. But I think his presence on Earth was a lot more public, just by the nature of where that battle was taking place, etc. Okay. And Hunt the Truth, as well as there was an excellent TV marketing campaign for Halo 5 as well, where it sort of showed Chief basically being treated like a suspect and being hunted down by Locke, them having this face-off again in like a public area on probably not Earth, but a human colonized planet. Like we didn't see any of that. There was none of that environment. There was none of the I think that the main sort of catalyst in Hunt the Truth was basically when Chief was basically, I might get this wrong, but Gaz, if you remember it, correct me, mate. There was, I think Chief was basically held responsible for the death of either a human delegate or a Sangheili delegate, something like that. It set Chief up as basically a war criminal. It wasn't even fucking mentioned in Halo 5 at all. Like none of it was even talked about. It wasn't hinted about. It just felt completely disconnected from the campaign that launched, and it just felt so disjointed and unorganized, and that really does reflect 343's operating style. They would just, it's like the left hand wasn't talking to the right hand. They just fucking lost all grip on keeping their shit together and working in harmony.
But that, sorry.
If I may say something about that, I think that the reason why Halo 5 came out like that, it was because back in 2009, Modern Warfare 2 came out, and when that game came out, it completely stole Halo's thunder, multiplayer-wise, campaign-wise, and if I remember correctly, back then people stopped caring about Halo because everyone was playing Modern Warfare 2. I mean, back then it was like 4.5 million people were playing that game every single night back then. So I believe that the company was in a panic mode because they thought that they had to somehow replicate all the bombastic elements that were in Modern Warfare 2 campaign, and they also had to replicate somewhat some of the bombastic elements that were in the multiplayer also. So I think that 343 with Halo 5, they were trying to combine kind of Call of Duty stuff with Halo stuff, and that really didn't work out very well for them.
But didn't Halo 4 come out after Modern Warfare 2?
Yeah, but back then, if I remember correctly, people didn't have much faith in the company. I mean, the hardcore purist fans, they really didn't like Halo 4, mostly because it didn't... the multiplayer, and because the campaign didn't have the sandbox feel of... Halo 3.
That's a very good point.
So they dismissed, if I remember correctly, they dismissed Halo 4 completely almost, although in my opinion it was a very good game. But with Halo 5, the problem is that they tried to imitate Call of Duty somewhat, and that somehow backfired at them.
Well,
I think that was the main issue.
I think also the biggest issue is that they didn't have any vision, because you had this incredible sci-fi writer, Greg Bear, who's passed away, rest in peace, wrote this. You commissioned him to tell a story or set up this foundation for this new Didact and Forerunner. Remember, it was called the Forerunner saga. And then you did a great job. Didact falls off the bridge in the Halo 4. And then with Halo 5, nothing. Nothing about the Didact.
The game series, I think it was the Reclaimer saga. It was more egregious than that, because basically they were gonna Halo 4 started really exploring Chief's Gene song, which is like this sort of, it's basically like a prophecy imprinted by the Forerunners, and you sort of start knitting those threads, and then they basically just fucking put all of it to one side in Halo 5. And I don't know if they continued that in the books and stuff. I haven't read many of the Halo books, largely because I struggle to find the time to read. But I need to, because I sort of feel like that's really where I'm gonna get my fix for Halo lore.
Yeah,
and that's
I bought
I want it in the
books.
games.
Yeah, but this is the problem. They never actually tell this amazing lore of Halo is relegated to the books when the games, even under Bungie, they never do a good job of.
They don't use it at all.
Yeah, it's just ridiculous. Like, you put all these resources in, and then with Halo Infinite, we know the story. Like, the story generally was okay, but they completely retconned it, completely forgot about Cortana. Again, the same thing with Halo 4, done the same thing with Halo 5. We had set up this grand scale, hardly any cutscenes. You had one at the start of the game where Atriox beats the shit out of memory. Let me just double check. That's a bit weird. Completely beats the shit out of Master Chief, and you're like, oh my god, this game started off with the most epic set piece ever. And then what happens? Like, nothing at all with Atriox. Nothing at all. No cutscenes, but Cortana's stuff is relegated to holograms. And then at the ending, the story, we don't even see the Endless that they've been waving and dangling in front of you. I really loved what they did with the Brutes, but it was just ended on this weird cliffhanger. You'd never seen the Endless. So there's a big question mark that remains, and it's a very big one, about what on earth they're going to do with the story going forward.
That's actually the thing that worries me, mate. Go on, Elias.
Me too, because when I finished the Halo Infinite campaign, at the end, I think that the campaign was becoming so lackluster, and it was just taking from arena to another arena with enemies, and the ending was so anticlimactic because that alien, I don't remember what her name was, she kept saying that the
octopus lady
coming, her. She kept saying that the Endless are coming, and they are coming, and they are this big huge threat to the universe, and it is supposed to be this great enemy that is going to come into the Halo universe, and we don't see any of that. Not only that. Yeah, but not only that, but there wasn't any additional story DLC campaign coming for Halo Infinite.
So, yeah.
Later on.
And we found out this week that there was Halo Infinite 2 was in the works, apparently. The sequel.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing? You were supposed to sell us this 10-year game, which I love the idea of. Because the saddest things when you complete a Halo campaign is it's over. But you are giving us Zeta Halo. You've set up this incredible template for telling stories for ages. But before Halo Infinite came out, there was so much speculation about what could they do with the Halo. You have the Palace of Pain, you have the Flood, you have like Zeta Halo houses so much lore and story potential that really you could do so much with. And for them to just scratch the surface and not touch it, I'll be very surprised if they let that go. I'll be very surprised.
I think this, ironically, is sort of, for me, it was what I expected the Slipspace engine to solve. And to be fair, like they hadn't sold that in specifically as what Slipspace was designed to do. But I figured if they're building their own engine and they're talking about Halo being infinite, let's talk 10 years of Halo. What are you going to do with that time? What are you going to do with the fact that you've been given supposedly a Halo ring. As it then turned out, you're given a small chunk of a Halo ring. Fine, it's still opened up. What can we do with that? Can we then open up more spaces and build that into a campaign and expand it through DLC, etc., etc.? And none of that materialized, but that certainly was my expectation. I wanted exactly what you've described. If they're gonna finish Infinite's campaign where it goes, where it ends, I need that next bit, and I need it sooner than 3, 4, 5 years down the line. As it turns out, that's not happening, and I think that's really, for fans of the campaign, for Halo fans specifically who have been along for the ride for coming on 25 years, and you are invested emotionally in this franchise, and you want to see what happens with Chief, what happens with the weapon, what happens with the pilot, because that's now the loose end that we've been given. It is now down to Halo Studios to either provide some continuation for that and keep moving Chief's story forward. If so, how are they going to do it? How are they going to deliver it in a way that 343 profoundly failed to do? And how do you keep that moving, and how do you address that with a new engine as well? There's a lot of moving parts going on. If you're going
we'll
to
talk about that shortly.
Forward.
Yeah, about the engine point. Magnum in the chat says, Gaz.
Look back.
Yeah. Oh, sorry.
Makes sense. Carry on.
So, no, sorry. Sorry to disrupt you there. Magnum says, Gaz, it's a new dawn for Halo. Time to let the past go. Well, it's quite funny you say that, when the thing that we showed was literally Master Chief version 1 and bringing the past back. And so there's a lot of nostalgia bait with what they showed off, which, again, rubbed some people the wrong way. On the Unreal Engine point, which I want to talk about. This is one where there's a lot of concern about whether or not this is a good move. To me, and I put this in my video, I enjoy or respect when a studio has its own bespoke engine. There's something more, when they have their own bespoke stuff, and that bespoke stuff does some things incredibly well. And it takes away a little bit of that shine when you do rely on a third-party engine. But at the same time, I found myself always asking, with exceptions with Halo 4, I've always been asking, ever since Halo 1 came out, why is it that Halo should be, I believe firmly, because of the nature of this IP and the strength of it and its legacy, it should strive to be at the top of the game, including visuals. And I was glad to see the devs say that Halo 1 was always at the top, and I believe Halo should always be at the top. It's saying the right things. It is Unreal Engine 5, and what we saw did look very impressive. Remember, it's essentially a tech demo. This Foundry Project Foundry is what they were. This project was, where they showed off this game, and the game looks incredible. I'll try and bring it up, but Unreal Engine 5 is very proficient. It just looks beautiful. From the water looked incredible to some of the foliage levels, then just the sheer atmosphere of even the snow levels, and then of course we got the flood levels, like that flood kind of feel. And I felt like the flood levels were a bit weak in the old games, especially Halo 3. I'm reminded of one of the final levels where you're rescuing Cortana, and the way it looked like now, it was just like, oh, this looks like this has so much potential.
Sphincters, several sphincters, several sphincters in every flood level in Halo 3.
Oh my god, man! Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of
through buttholes.
yeah. Honestly, it was. And I'll try and bring it up here. So this is what the game looks like.
I believe in you guys.
I've done it. I just switched scenes, and it's not slowing things down. Although there's a lady on screen right now. But you'll see the footage come up, and the game looks great. The game looks like this is what Halo, because with Halo Infinite, when other than the slip space engine, which was a bald-faced lie about what it could do, this being Unreal Engine, we can have some kind of confidence that this will look great because we've had some incredible looking Unreal Engine games, Hellblade 2 being one. But the problem is, and this is why Ilias goes, oh shit, it's because it has to feel like Halo.
I would like to say something about this. Actually, I have a lot of things to say about this. I believe that I believe that the Unreal Engine 5 it is the worst optimized game engine ever made. Let's take that first.
In the face.
Because the main problem with the Unreal, because the main issue.
Sorry.
Yeah. Because let me talk, man.
I'm sorry.
Anyway.
I'm sorry.
As I was saying before Gaz interrupted me in this way. So I believe that the Unreal Engine 5 that it is the worst optimized game engine ever made. I believe that with this engine we have seen great tech demos, but we haven't seen that many great looking games. Meaning that they struggle on current gen consoles. Apart from Hellblade 2, which I believe that looks amazing actually, but the main thing is about the Unreal Engine 5. It is that they not only have to use this for the single player, but they will also have to use this game engine for the multiplayer also, and that game engine has to hit like 60 FPS or more, and we see Unreal Engine 5 struggling with FPS so many times, and that is mostly because from what I have read, Unreal Engine 5 has a huge issue with CPU optimization, meaning that they haven't figured out yet to make that game engine to use more cores, more CPU cores. And they haven't really resolved that. So yes.
There's a big... You're absolutely right that in terms of UE5 and current gen consoles, they have typically struggled. But I will put Fortnite out there because that's a UE5 game, but that's obviously in-house, developed by Epic. It's their game. It's not exactly the most visually profound things, even though it's not going to be system heavy as well. But that is still evidence, and because of the points you've just raised, I think, well, I'll be very surprised, Ilias, if this next Halo game, whether it's a reboot or whatever, is coming this gen. I would imagine that this would be...
No. I didn't say that it will come.
No, but the reason... I know you didn't say that, but the reason why I'm mentioning that is I think that... I expect that Unreal Engine, it may not be optimized well now, but it will be, and we'll see updates soon. Ilias, if what you're saying is true, then explain to me why the entirety of CD Projekt Red's future projects are all on UE5, and so many studios are moving to UE5 and forsaking their in-house engines that have caused issues like Slipspace or the Red engine. They must know, man, like, to have that much faith in UE5 that they've wholesale moved their full slate of games to it. I think it'll be fine.
I hope so that this is the case, but I also think that Unreal Engine 5 that it doesn't have any other big time competitors. There is the RE engine from Capcom, but that game engine is kind of starting to getting
A little bit old.
Also,
Yeah.
there is the game engine from Guerrilla Studios.
Very good engine.
Which is a great engine in my opinion, but I don't think that Sony will ever let that game engine to be used on a third-party game or something like that. So I think that most developers, they are going to the Unreal Engine 5 because they have no other
choice
alternatives, and also because since everybody is utilizing that engine, it is only normal, for the next developer to say, actually, okay, since this developer is utilizing this game engine for their next game, we are going to do the same thing also. But I hope that the problems that will be solved, and by the time next gen comes, that the hardware will be powerful enough, to use that game engine at its fullest. I hope so, because that game engine needs a lot of CPU power, a whole lot.
No, I'm also holding out that kind of hope.
I'm gonna jump in with something here.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to pretend to know as much about UE5 as either of you, because I'm not massively tech savvy when it comes to specifically game development and making a game performant on PC, because I haven't played games on PC. But what I have noticed, and there was a list that I saw on Twitter the other day. I can't remember what games are on it, but I remember seeing. Obviously, Halo Studios has now moved over to UE5. I think South of Midnight is being developed on UE5. Yeah.
I think so.
Is Perfect Dark on UE5?
Yep.
So here's the thing: if you've got a load of Microsoft studios all working on UE5, all being supported, and thank you, Abdel. State of Decay 3 also on UE5. I think what Microsoft is trying to do here is streamline its pipeline, obviously, and turn that content tap on, because it is the problem that Xbox has had for a really long time. That's why the easiest go-to if you want to be a child and put down a platform you don't play on is, Xbox has no games, which is ironic, because these same people saying, Xbox has no games, are also the same people who will say, I'm getting all your games, which is, only really one of those can be true, but we are where we are. If Microsoft moves more of its studios to UE5, in theory, that means that it's more prepared to share developer resources and developer tools across its arsenal of studios to keep everybody on the same page. And as we know with Slipspace, one of the major problems, and I think Colt Eastwood added some really helpful context here. I believe Colt lives in Washington State. Is that correct?
Yes.
Because he pointed out that this was actually this was state law, not purely a Microsoft thing. He said this Washington state law dictates that contractors can only work for 18 months. So it's not necessarily Microsoft pulling the strings there, but I don't know how much control they have over that. I don't understand state law or federal law.
No, but that was American. The problem. So the problem was that that is state law. Contractors can only be there to be employed for, I think, around about 2 years or thereabouts. And you're right. If I think of me as a graphic designer, and again, like I'm not a contractor, I'm in a full-time role, but if I decided to be a contractor or a freelancer, wherever I go, I'm going to be using the same software, I'm going to be using the same tools. There might be a few differentiations in terms of the type of software, but you can almost guarantee it's going to be the Adobe suite, right? The Adobe suite isn't perfect, but it's fucking ubiquitous across my industry. If you have game developers churning out of uni because they really want to go into game development, and UE5 is becoming, rightly or wrongly, the standard for game development, and it allows
jobs to be a little bit more secure because they're all working on the same page. They can contract wherever they want. They can work on a wide range of projects all under the Microsoft banner. Does it provide a better environment for game developers who just want to do their job regardless of where they're developing? Does it make it easier for Microsoft to produce content more consistently and have coverage across the board with support from people like Jason Ronald and their tech team? I completely hear the cons about UE5 not necessarily being optimized, might not be fit for this gen. We also have wizards like Ninja Theory and the Coalition who are really fucking good with Unreal Engine 5.
And that's
I'm not saying this gen is going to be perfect as far as UE5 experiences go, but I think it's worth letting them cook a little bit.
I think you're on the money there. So that whole point about Microsoft's first parties games, a lot of them, or the vast majority of them, other than like Fable running on the Forza Tech engine, most of them are all running on UE5. You've got the wizards at the Coalition right there, right next to you. And they are going to work on Gears, and they're going to deliver a visually astounding Gears that what needs to, just like Halo, have a 60 FPS mode for its multiplayer. So you've got them there. And what I get your concerns, Elias, because it's shared with because look at the current landscape. But this engine, I also give a lot of props to Unreal Engine because something has to give. This idea of us being stuck with, or developers being stuck with this massive development budget, which is not sustainable, that it's imploding the industry, and we have these 5-year cycles. Tools like Unreal Engine are going to embolden so many developers across the board, from indies to AA's to the big ones like here, the AAA's, that the tool set is so inviting to even absolute noobs like me. And that's how powerful Unreal Engine is. The refinements and stuff will come. I believe it will come. And we have got quite a lot of years since we will even see the next Halo game. So I think it will... I don't think it'll be a problem. But I will say one of the things that Unreal Engine does allow Halo Studios to do is do what they say. They just announced. We're not getting just one game. They're saying that I think there are 3 Halo games or multiple Halo games in development already. So that is what...
Yeah.
What the hell just happened? Just
some random shit that I found I can do with my Mac recently.
That's amazing. But distracted. What was I going to say? Yeah, so 3. He's such a troll.
Multiple games.
Multiple games. So the first game, I was saying this the week before, just the day before it got released. Like, I'm a huge Halo fan, but I've done Halo CE to death with the anniversary to death. I just completed the Passcore challenge just a couple of months ago on Halo CE. And okay, obviously I'll be excited to a certain degree because it's Halo. But I want to see the future of Halo. And I just feel, even though I have resigned to the notion that what Halo to me represents like the sci-fi shooter and a franchise that could really, if treated with the respect it deserves, it should be moving the bar forward and not being stuck to the strictures of Haloverse with the whole gun thing, no sprint, and like really take gaming forward. But Halo is not going to be that. It's just going to be stuck in its own cocoon of Halo, no matter who takes it on, because of that's what the fan base wants, I guess, to a certain degree, but short-sighted. But
I think that's like the current fan base doesn't. Well, portions of the current fan base don't want Halo to change. I think that's been true since Halo CE. There's always a Halo fan somewhere.
No, but we're not talking about change.
About Halo doing something slightly different.
Yeah, but Halo.
But the thing is, like, Halo needs to grow its audience. We might be getting a little bit ahead of topics here because I know we'll end up talking about the possibility of Halo being multi-platform as well. But Halo needs to bring in a younger audience because the demographic that grew up loving Halo, they're only getting older. They're only falling off of gaming as real life comes at them harder and harder. Some people grow out of this hobby, some people don't. Some people not even necessarily growing out, just finding less time and ability and flexibility in their lives to commit to it. And eventually, like, this is really sad and depressing for a Saturday night, but our generation that grew up on Halo isn't going to be here anymore. So someone's going to have to cap for Halo when we're too old to fucking do it. Yeah. And that's only going to change if Halo innovates, but it needs to do it in a way that keeps that heart and soul and
absolutely
essence that it came with.
I mean, keeping the spirit of it, that's fine, but this is the problem. People get buried down on what constitutes the spirit of Halo. But Halo needs to... If Pierre... So this is the big question. A lot of people were giving their flowers to Pierre Hintze. They're like, this is the guy who will save Halo. He will save Halo. And he has done incredible things, including rescuing the Master Chief Collection and making it operable when it was broken for years. And then with Halo Infinite, when he took over, fixed the content roadmap for that multiplayer, brought in all the modes, brought in all the armor customization mix-up and all of that. And people were like, yeah, he's the one. But he has not delivered a brand new whole game with this fresh narrative from scratch, creative decisions there with multiplayer, a fresh multiplayer mode. So a lot of people, yes, he's got positive points. He's coming up with some proven leadership. I would say yes. But in terms of proven in the grandest scale of delivering a fresh new Halo game, that remains to be seen. I am not giving him his flowers prematurely because I've been burnt by people by doing that. And I have questions regarding whether he can. Not because I don't see any shortcomings in him. Just the challenge is so high. Aaron, thank you for the £10 super chat. He goes, can the panel provide an educated guess on the specs of the upcoming Xbox handheld? Will it replace the Series S? And also, how can Xbox avoid the performance bottleneck seen in the current Series S? Good question. The spec point on, going off the tangent a little bit, but the spec point on the Series S is going to be quite important because this thing needs to be able to run and like, I mean, when is it coming out? Like, are we supposed to get a reveal this year based on Sarah Bond? It seems to suggest that the end of holiday 20 this year, we're supposed to get something on a new bit of hardware. So either that's the next Xbox that they're going to start talking about, or most likely it's going to be the handheld. I think it's going to be the handheld.
Actually, I think that it is going to be... Do you remember back in the end of 2019 during the Game Awards where Phil Spencer came out and he announced the Series X? I think that it is going to be something like that.
So at the Game Awards?
It's going to be something like that, yeah.
But so the Game Awards this year, and do you think it's going to be the handheld? I think it'll be the handheld.
No, I think that it will be the handheld because what is rumored, I don't know if you have heard about this. What is rumored is that there is going to be a tabletop, main system, and there is going to be a handheld a console also. So maybe they are going to show something like that. I mean, they will show a main console like the Series X, and next to it, it will be the handheld system. I think that's how they are going to play this.
That will be interesting because then...
Go on, guys.
I was going to say that was going to bring the problem of the dual SKU approach, because I think it's safe to say that the Xbox Series X/S dual development thing hasn't panned out. That is not... The developers are pissed off. They don't want to have that headache again. And doing this handheld thing potentially brings that issue, although PlayStation has the same thing. We know that the next PlayStation already in the works, and they've got this deal thing, and a lot of people are like, that's the handheld as well. So maybe that doesn't present itself as a challenge for handheld. I'm not a technical bot, so I don't know. But asking Aaron's question on the, and that's a very important one. What are going to be the specs? I'm not going to throw out numbers which, most of which I don't understand. But if you're going to relative to, you know, you've got very powerful handhelds now. You've got the ROG Ally, you've got the Lenovo Legion Go, you've got your Steam Decks, and you've got Nintendo's new machine coming in, which is apparently rumored to be in between the PlayStation 4 Pro and Series S. So how powerful does this console need to be in order to run Unreal Engine 5 games as well? There's a lot of challenges there. It has to be a native device. I don't know. Aaron, if I was going to put an educated guess there, do you think it'll be the Series S or more? Series X power? I mean, a handheld? I don't know, man. This is where there's a big question mark.
It depends on when it comes. So a couple of things that Captain Chats has pointed out, just to advise a little bit of caution, because I think like we're very, very good at running with something that an exec has said, but possibly misconstruing it. So just trying to head that off a little bit. Captain Chats said in chat the hardware Sarah Bond mentioned was the all digital Series X and the 2 terabyte Series X as well. They were mentioned back in February. They said that they were revealing them later this year, and they were coming at the end of the year. So I think the hardware reveal that we've been alluding to is actually the stuff that has already been announced and is going to be on shelves within the next few weeks. I hope we see a new console at the Game Awards. I think it'd be fucking sick. But we give this community hope, and then it all just ends up being in flames when the thing that we've all talked about doesn't materialize. So I want to try and avoid that, because I'm being the responsible one. If it comes out, if the handheld, if the handheld comes out this year, sorry, not this year. If the handheld comes out this gen, I would expect it to be on par with the Series S. If it comes out next gen, I think I'm with Elias. I think it will be a 2 SKU gen again, and I hope that they learn from some of the issues that they've had with the Series. I do think the Series S gets a bad rap, by the way. Like it clearly wasn't given enough RAM. That was a mistake. Just like they made with or they were going to make with the 360, right?
Yeah.
And they need to sort that, because it has, rightly or wrongly, probably rightly, been demonized by the community and certain developers. And I think the proof was in the pudding with something like Baldur's Gate 3, when they couldn't quite get it to match parity, and they had to change that. They do need to look at that, and they do need to make sure that 2 SKU problem doesn't come up again. But I do respect what the Series S is trying to do, because it's a console under 250 quid. Like, we saw the PS5 Pro announced officially earlier this year, and the internet lost its shit when the price point was revealed, because for most people it is too much money. Unless you really, really, really love PlayStation and you have the disposable income to make your games look a bit more beautiful, but you're still going to be locked into the PlayStation ecosystem. If you're cool with that and you want to spend the money on it, awesome. But console units of this generation aren't moving because they're too expensive. So if you keep driving the cost of those up, it's going to be even harder to start moving those units. So I respect what the Series S was trying to do in terms of getting younger gamers, because the other thing is, like, if you're a parent and you want to buy your kid a games console, if you have the disposable income to buy them a £500 console, awesome. But if they're like, 10, 12 years old, and this is their first gaming console outside of the Switch, are you going to buy the 500 one, or are you going to buy the 250, $300 one?
Yeah, no.
Because
also
that accessible
the fact that
point allows Xbox to grow.
And the games that they play
theory,
are
but it's still
Fortnite,
struggling to.
your Minecrafts, your Robloxes.
Yeah.
So it's not like that, they can justify getting a Series X just for those games, because really that's what the idea was behind the Series. It was a great idea, and it's in many ways great idea. But the challenges that Xbox faced with developers prioritizing the PlayStation over it also compounded the problem with the Series S not doing well. I still think it was a great idea, just didn't pan out in practice. The RAM was a lot less than it should have been, because you had some commentator, Digital Foundry said it off the bat based on the specs that the RAMs was quite tricky, and it ended up being with two salient examples with Baldur's Gate and Black Myth Wukong to be the problem in development. So, and as we go on this gen, you're going to find that that's going to be more and more of a problem. But in terms of the power spec, I don't know. Aaron, thank you for the £10 super chat. Again, he goes, it needs to be more powerful than the Series S to future-proof it. I agree. Bond's bold claims about... Bond's bold, not bald. Sorry, Nick Marseille must have been in chat. Bond's bold claims about the most advanced console. I expect something unique, native, and with cloud streaming that rivals GeForce. I'll be careful there, Aaron, about conflating the handheld for the console, because we're just talking about the largest technical leap ever seen. She's most likely talking about the next, actual console, not the handheld itself. Aaron, also, thank you again for another super chat, because I fear that the handheld console could be so lucrative for Microsoft that they end up making the tabletop console completely obsolete. Interesting times ahead if you're an Xbox fan. I don't think that will happen.
If I may say something about this, though, we are talking about what new console that the company is going to come out with in the next gen. But here is the problem. I am very happy with the Xbox that I have now, and I am very happy with Game Pass. I have no issues, no problems. They cover my gaming needs almost completely. I also have a PlayStation 5, but with my Xbox, I am fine. The problem is, first of all, it's how are they going to launch and market a new system next gen when they have almost given up on their console this gen?
Yeah.
And I am so sorry, and I am so sorry if I sound like a Sony fanboy now, but
I agree with you, which is why I am taking this hat off and putting this hat on. There you go.
But yeah, my main issue is, how are they going to, how is Microsoft going to market and hope that they will do sales with their console next gen when they are not even marketing the consoles that they have now? I mean, I was expecting to see Xbox bundles coming out with Call of Duty, and I don't see that happening. I mean, yes, I do want a new Xbox to come out, and I do want to see what it will be able to do, but how can they hope to do console sales next gen when they have almost abandoned their systems this gen?
So that's a very, very good question, and this is kind of like leads to the final the main topic, or one of the final topics I wanted to talk about, and that lends itself to where Xbox is right now, and Xbox guys are gonna be upset with me saying this, but it's really I think the truth. Xbox is really lost at the moment. Xbox has no clear vision, it seems. It doesn't know where it is in the space. Ever since opening its multi-plat strategy, in terms of its exclusives, the Xbox core identity is dwindling. The console sales aren't matching up. And it's almost weird. Like, it's like, okay, you're still committed to console, but what is your strategy with that? When you completely just did not prioritize console at all this generation, and your mixed messaging with no console required, all of this stuff. What are you expecting to change? Because your own messaging suggests that you're not confident in console. So, like, I don't understand what their idea is.
I
and
think
why would
the
you
focus is now platform and ecosystem rather than just the one place to play.
But that's
And
but then why commit to?
Quite worked how to pitch it properly.
But it doesn't know. Microsoft doesn't know that thing. It seems like Xbox is lost. It doesn't really have any clear, even distinguishing factor. Everyone, all I'm thinking about is Game Pass. Trying to play my kids' move song.
That point that Everborn made last week about value, I thought was really powerful. Like, it can't just be the value box; it has to be more than that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think it is concerning because it does need a strategy. It should communicate its strategy, but I understand why it doesn't completely. Because if you go fully transparent, what the hell are you going to blindside your quote-unquote opponent with? But at the same time, this lack of transparency and this lack of communication, it is harmful to its consumer base, and it is harmful to the community that is still willing to champion it. And rightly or wrongly, like, those things are still important to a brand. And at the moment, Xbox's strategy seems to be, I'm going to just keep my legs open and let everybody have a sniff. And that's not really a strategy, at least not a good one. And it needs to be clearer than it currently is being. Because
I don't think it will be.
Has said, no, I don't think it will be, because in the Apology Tour interview back in February, I can't remember who coined that phrase, but I find that funny. It might be Mag, I'm not sure. Back in February, when it first started talking about putting games in more places, and it was just the 4 games, and quote unquote Indiana Jones and Starfield are not one of the 4 games, which is a very corporate bastard way of saying we're gonna do it, we're just not gonna do it now. But we are.
And it's bollocks.
And it is. At the same time, like, in that same interview, you had Phil basically go, like, don't get too excited, PlayStation guys, like, it's not going to be everything, it is going to be case by case. I do believe that, like, but
what does that mean?
I need to see it to
like,
believe it.
Yeah, well, case by case by what?
It's still too ambiguous.
Yeah, it really is.
It's still too ambiguous.
And then this is where we go back to. Sorry, before we do, we go back to Halo being on PlayStation, and that would be the death knell of a console. If that ever happened. Before we do that, he goes, Aaron with a £10 super. She goes, I know we dislike job cuts, but Microsoft should revamp the entire Xbox marketing team. Facts. They act like nervous pussy holes in high-pressure situations, constantly missing clear goals and fumbling every time. Aaron, I agree with you. I don't understand how this trillion-dollar company is just operating its gaming division. It's just really weird, massively reactive with no clear route. Abdul says, Gaz, you sound like Jason Schreier. He also said Xbox is lost. And broken clock being twice, right. He was right. Jason Schreier was right. Look, he may look like Penguin from Batman, and he may be Volus from Mass Effect, and he may be a thoroughly evil person, but he's right. Xbox is lost. I'm sorry, Xbox fans.
I believe that the main issue with Xbox at the moment is that they are trying too many things at the same time, and they are trying to see what will work and what will not work, and that is hurting them very, very much, in my opinion, because right now you have the Sony fans believing that every single Xbox game that will come on to the PlayStation 5 and on to the PlayStation 6.
Yep.
So as long as you have people believing that this thing is somehow going to happen, how are you going to market a new console next gen when the people from the other side think that all the games will eventually come over to them? So they really have to sit down and talk to us and tell us what in the bloody hell they are going to do, because it really hurts my soul and my heart seeing Xbox being the laughing stock in Twitter like 90% of the times.
And it is. What's up, Lunchi Sky? Good to see you in the chat. Yeah, look, Jason makes Gaz's voice sound like a sweet melody. Gamer, you piece of shit. It does as well.
True.
That's how bad his voice is. That my sounds nice. But yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. And Microsoft needs to, if Microsoft does feel like it's wading in the waters and doesn't really know what it's doing and is trying to find its footing, but it's opened the doors, the floodgates to this multi-plat strategy. I don't think there's any closing it back. There may be restricting it, and therefore Halo cannot be a game that comes on PlayStation. You must be on crack. And if they do that, don't bother with a next gen console. I'm sorry, just end it or just do it.
Yeah.
And then you'll have Abdel and visiting the tiny little like echo chamber of fans who will just be talking about Xbox like that it means something, when the rest of us will be on PC or wherever the real gaming experiences where it's not limited. Microsoft I just completely lost. And whether or not they change that or they get that messaging sorted, I don't know. But
I'm going to say something that Xbox fans might not like and might well give Nick Marseille a hard on, but we'll see. I don't think it's a good idea for Xbox to put Halo on PlayStation. I do not think it's a good idea, but I think it's going to. And I think if it does, it should only do it strategically. And I stress strategically.
Now you're saying strategic Halo release, not every Halo release, but this Halo release only.
Yes, a strategic Halo release. I said this in a video, and if you've listened to this, if you're listening to this and you don't know anything about my content, go visit my page after this show. Don't go now. You have to stay here. That's the rule. But like, they come a little bit later. I did a Halo on PlayStation video. This actually was sort of born out of a rumor about it was broken by middle-aged game guy talking about rumor of Master Chief Collection coming to PlayStation. We don't know whether that's happening or not, but basically the video sort of goes into theorizing what that would do for Halo as a brand, what it would do for Xbox as its brand identity.
Nothing. The damage.
I look at it like this, and I'm going to compare it to PlayStation IP, because in the last few months we have seen that Horizon is getting a Lego Horizon game that is going over to Switch. But that Horizon IP, the core Horizon IP, the vanilla Horizon games and the campaign is exclusive to, it's a console exclusive to PlayStation and now on PC. If that protocol stays as it is, and effectively you're getting PlayStation IP spin-offs go to other platforms, you still keep that identity of the IP where you get the undiluted version. I understand your trepidation, guys. I agree with you. I don't think it's a good idea. But basically, if you're gonna put a Halo experience on PlayStation, give them something old like MCC. And it basically, I argue in my video, if you put MCC and Halo Infinite's multiplayer only, not the campaign, because I don't think you should touch any recent or current or new Master Chief campaign content. I think that's really important. If you lose that on Xbox, I think you really do put massive risk on Halo's identity and its synergy with Xbox. If you put an older Halo title on there, or you put the next multiplayer only Halo title on there, in the interest of putting Halo in the hands of more people. And I've thought about this a lot, guys. I love Halo so fucking much. I like Xbox, but I love Halo a lot more than I love Xbox. And I care about Halo. I care about its reputation. I care about people enjoying it. I want more people to love Halo like I do. Because like I said earlier, it is important for Halo to grow. It is important that Halo if you're gonna put a Halo experience on PlayStation, it should be treated like the gateway drug that encourages you to go and explore the rest of it. If you, like I said, open your legs and let everybody have a sniff, it's not a fucking strategy. And that's the problem that I don't think Xbox is going to listen to that last bit. I think they're just going to open their legs and just let everybody have a fucking go. And I don't think that's a good idea. But what do I fucking know? I'm just some guy who really likes Halo and thinks Xbox is good but needs to stop fucking itself over.
Well,
that's where I'm at.
If you do, it's going to be, if you find it tricky to balance the messaging with the exclusive stuff, how tricky would it be to then relay to everyone that, by the way, the full Halo experience is reserved for the Xbox, and for what reason? Why? I don't even know. But that's why
the mixed messaging will be chaos. It's a fucking bad idea, like I said. But if they're gonna do it, they need to do it in a way that doesn't just
at that point it's damage limitation. I mean, at that point, if Halo, my argument is this: Halo in any way, shape, or form going to PlayStation just completely just destroys the notion of having an Xbox console. Is a reflection, well, doubling down on the on proving that Xbox has lost faith in its core console fan base, despite the fact that Game Pass subs predominantly come from console. They're holding on to it because they need to, but they don't want to. And when Halo, CE, the remake, most likely may come to PlayStation, at which case I would love to see the hardcore who's still, the ones who go pony bat and all that bollocks. I would love to see their faces, but they will still grift and maintain that Xbox is the best box, even though it's not a box anymore, it's a USB stick. But it remains to be seen. But if you're going to talk about, at the very least, and I don't even think this is a big win, but at the very least, it's a necessity that it should be Forza, Halo, and Gears should be on Xbox. Those legacy titles. Either way, Xbox needs to fix up that shit, because right now it's just all over the place. Every game that comes out for Xbox gets announced. I can't wait to play on my PlayStation, and that's fair enough, because who can say with absolute confidence Gears, Halo, and Forza are not coming out on PlayStation ever? So it is what it is. It is what it is. You'll be able to feel Master Chief get a hard-on with a DualSense, says K-Man. What are you talking about, bruh? Bashi Washi.
Policy, innit?
Bashi Washi with a 5, because Xbox needs to fire those in marketing and support for sure. They don't have theme for metaphor yet, or banners in their marketplace yet, like you have the rights. They need to do a lot more. They're learning, but I don't care about their learning arc that much, because it's Microsoft, not Xbox to me anymore. But when it going back to Halo, we've covered the engine, the game engine, in some detail and what problems that presents. I love the way the game looked. It felt more atmospheric than Halo as I have. Like the atmosphere, the flood levels, man. It just looks...
Especially that. The flood level was amazing. It was simply amazing.
Beautiful.
Yeah, man.
In all the wrong ways. Just absolutely stunning.
It's quite funny, isn't it? It's beautiful, but it's like ugly at the same time, because it's like flood stuff. but it just looks beautiful. And it's like the atmosphere. It's like Dead Space or whatever. It made you feel the Flood seem really menacing. And you see Flood designs have evolved quite a bit because Flood basically looked like phlegm in the first game, just like balloons, lots of phlegm on enemies. And then they've kind of evolved with Halo 3, I would say. They ended up being more of that yellowish color. But, Halo's going to be incredible. I think the first game is going to be a reboot of Halo CE. It seems like that's the way forward. And I hope
we have talk of multiple games. What other Halo games would you like to see from Halo Studios? Because in theory, they're opening themselves up to do a lot more content, and that's what I really want out of this. I just want more Halo content. I'm more bothered about getting more content than I am where it goes, to be honest. Like I just want more Halo.
I mean, where it goes is irrelevant. Xbox has lost the console war, so it's like, wait, what are we? I'm going to be playing on PC. I'll be playing on my 5090 if I'm alive.
By the way, guys, about that 5090, I have to say, you should know this, that NVIDIA plans to reveal the 5090 and the 5080 on January 6th at CES.
Oh, yeah?
And the rumors say that the 5080 alone is going to cost like $2.5K.
Fucking hell.
I read this from videocards.com. That it will cost like $2.5K.
No way. No
or
way.
something like that. I don't know if it is the 5090 or the 5080, but the specs for the 5090 are so huge. 32 gigs of RAM, for fuck's sake. I mean, it's going to show, if you are going to get that card, you better start saving money from now, or maybe sell a
kidney or two,
or something, because it's going to be
sell my body on the streets to afford this thing. Like, are you talking $2.5?
I want to try and scoop up a used 4080. That's my plan, because I haven't built a PC. I really want to build a PC. I need to pull the money together, but I'm quite interested in picking up a 4080 and going from there.
When the 5090 gets announced, the 4080 will go cheaper in price as well. So that's the benefit of that. But holy shit, $2,500. I said $2,000 for the 5090, but the 5080 is that price. Oh god, but I need it. I need it for not just gaming, but for video stuff and everything. And I can't wait. And for me, that's why. Look, we are a lot of people. Like, if you're fortunate enough to be able to buy not only game consoles, the PS5 Pro is quite expensive. Like, we're basically in a recession, so like us having talking about spending all this money on just for gaming is insane. Although for me, it's like livelihood as well. But in the core gaming circles, we talk about best gaming experiences. I want the best of the best, and consoles are just a convenient, sure, but there's just so much, just not convenient for me anymore. I was playing Metaphor ReFantazio, and I'm recording this thing with my Elgato Camlink 4K attached, and the flickering is happening because there's an OLED, and there's so many issues with this stuff on the console, and I'm like, I wish my PC was fine because just NVIDIA Shadowplay just capture this stuff. Like, it was so easy for me to edit and then drag it into Premiere Pro and all of this. I'm kind of outgrowing console a little bit. I'll buy the next PlayStation 6. I will buy the next Xbox. I will buy the handheld. But my gaming tastes are evolving. And I feel like a lot of Xbox fans, either through disappointment with the multi-platform strategy or also generally just looking at the console and thinking, well, I want more. And you, because of your policy, are not catering for me. That dwindling kind of allegiance to that brand is going to cause more people to either move to PlayStation or to PC. So it's going to be a very interesting few years. We saw the NPD results or the hardware sales. They're down across the board. Expect PlayStation 5 to see a spike with the PS5 Pro. I think I keep saying it. Like, I find it not so surprising that the console hasn't sold out yet. You can buy it. Fair enough. But I think it will sell well. Like, there's no competition, guys. A lot of Xbox guys are like, oh, yeah, but it's not selling well. I'm like, why are you talking about console sales? Like, I get it to a certain degree.
Console sales are silly. You know what? I think that something really proved how silly console sales are as a thing to wave around, because PlayStation has one of the largest user bases, certainly like bigger than Xbox, and I don't know how it compares to Switch these days, but I think Switch is bigger. It doesn't matter. It didn't help Concord at all. It doesn't matter how many consoles you ship if the user base isn't going to buy the shit that the first party studios are making. And yes, obviously third party sales, etc., like it all counts, but
I will
Sony's
counter
user
that.
base didn't.
I will counter that. I think it's important. I think console sales are important because I like the fact that these console platforms exist, and Sony and Nintendo. Just because Xbox failed doesn't mean that we should start. I see a lot of people conveniently now championing multi-platforms there and there. Yeah, in some instances, like for third parties in Metaphor, ReFantazio, slap in the face for Square Enix and what happened with Final Fantasy and its exclusivity. They must be looking at that like, well, shit, because we could have enjoyed a lot more sales on PC. I'm very confident those sales would be a lot more healthier for Final Fantasy 16 on PC if it was a day one and benefit from all the marketing push. And with Atlus's thing, Square have already announced that they're not doing this anymore, but they're definitely resolute on this. But console sales are important because they're a reflection of the fact that there's still the sizable chunk of the gaming market does play on consoles. And I don't want consoles to go away just because my tastes are changing.
We also talk about Xbox like it's dwindling, though. Like, it still sold several million, like tens of millions of units. That's not a small number. Like, if Xbox Series X only shipped 2,000 units, we would be having a very real discussion about Xbox facing
Xbox would be dead at 2,000 units.
It would be fucked. Properly fucked. But that's not the case. It's okay that it's the smaller platform. Like, really, it being the smallest platform. It's not a small platform, it's just the smallest.
Yeah.
That narrative gets weaponized by idiots on Twitter. It doesn't. I understand the whole sort of death of Xbox narrative, etc. If it goes full multi-platform, puts Halo everywhere without batting a fucking eyelid, and doesn't give its fans any explanation as to why it's done it, or any reassurance that there is still going to be exclusive content on that service, because I think that's what as a TV example we can use right here as to why I'm going massively off topic, but fuck it. Why a multi-platform strategy could feed an ecosystem. And I think really what I'm going to compare here is something like Netflix to Game Pass. So in the UK, I use Netflix all the time. There is a show called Brassic, which if you haven't seen it, you should. It's fantastic. Seasons 1 to 4 are on Netflix in the UK right now.
Yeah.
Brassic is made by Sky, and it is made for Sky. So the only way that you can get the newer seasons of Brassic is by either subscribing to Sky TV or Now TV, which is basically Sky's on-demand service. And Now TV has loads of exclusive content. Like in the UK, The Last of Us is streamed on Now TV. So again, if you want to watch stuff like The Last of Us, Game of Thrones, etc., it's all via Now TV. I'm considering subscribing to Now TV for a couple of months because Brassic has hooked me in seasons 1 to 4. I loved them. I want to go and watch season 5. Season 6 is playing right now on Now TV and on Sky. Now, the only reason why that's happened is because Sky has given me a taster on Netflix. So if we translate that logic to Halo's multiplayer game, or like, I don't know, let's say hypothetically, Halo Studios go, fuck it, we're going to rip off Helldivers with an ODST game. And because it is fun as shit and ODSTs are awesome, we're just going to put it everywhere. If you want more ODST stuff, if you want more Halo stuff, there's only one place you're going to get it. That's the strategy that I think Xbox should employ, but I don't think they're going to. And that's the concern for me as an Xbox user, rather than it being a platform that diminishes. Because I think over time, that's the harm. It's not low console sales for me that will do Xbox harm. It's putting Xbox into a state of irrelevancy. And that's the fine line it has to walk.
Yeah, and that's the line that's walking. Like, an exclusivity is a big way of distinguishing yourself and marking your presence.
Rodko is losing his shit because I've used a TV analogy. I don't fucking care, dude. Like, shut the fuck up. Come on. It's an analogy. It's fine. It works absolutely fine. Anyway.
Yeah, but, I mean, the analogy you're using is exclusivity, and then making sure there's people being pulled. So I don't understand why does the TV analogy not work with consoles? Because ultimately, that distinguishing factor it's why PlayStation is where it's at, because it has those exclusives. Why Nintendo has such a high attachment rate for its softwares, because of the software. So if you get exclusive software, well, it doesn't matter if your analogies talk about TVs, talk about exclusive content. So yeah,
and actually, to just to take this one step further as well, I know that a lot of people kind of lost their shit over the whole no console required line, and it feels a little bit. It's not disingenuous, because you can play without a console, but you are going to have to pay for a Game Pass Ultimate subscription. And I don't think there's many people. I might be wrong, and I'd be really interested to see the numbers on this. How many people bought an Xbox Ultimate subscription or an Xbox Game Pass Ultimate subscription to play on Fire Stick and Fire Stick only? It's probably not very many, but that is an option that Xbox is providing its users. So if you don't need to put up this 500 quid or 250 quid investment for either a Series S or a Series X to go and play the new series of Brassic, i.e. Halo, and you want to play it via cloud without the console investment, you've already bought your pad. Like, this is what Xbox is trying to do, and it feels really, like, again, Rodka, like, you're on your own here, bro. Shut the fuck up. We're in a space where Xbox is just trying to expand its user base and the people using its platform being ecosystem rather than just console.
Rodger also spelled analogy with anal, so so there's that.
Hey, we're back to spreading legs and diddy oil. Look at that, we brought it back around.
But yeah, look, they get these options. Xbox is just lost, man, and I don't see it changing. Let it change. Let me see it. Let me see this leadership find its footing with whatever. Well, to me, it's why did it happen? As soon as ABK happened, they had all this pressure. Their consoles are not selling. The Game Pass uptick has been slow. So we're talking about a platform holder that just doesn't do it. The idea of what we thought Xbox is gone, and I think the sooner the people they get used to that, the better. But ultimately, it might change, because they might actually listen to all the core sentiment and see that, hold on a minute, vast majority of Xbox fans are not a fan of this. We're starting to see optics whereby Xbox is just dwindling as a platform in conversations where it was something that was quite profound. I think it's the short-term game with major long-term losses, and it's just a Microsoft gaming arm will not yield the kind of benefits a concerted Xbox brand with proper leadership which has a clear appetite to compete and distinguish the platform from other platforms will yield. That long-term benefit is massively better, but it is what it is.
Guys, I want to
take off
ask you something.
Yes.
No, I don't want to do that. Sorry. But do you believe that by the next generation of consoles, because I have this small hope that maybe, just maybe, Microsoft will see from their mistakes this gen, and that they might do some things right next gen, meaning that they might give to their next gen systems more attention. That they will not bring everything onto the PlayStation 5 because this is because it is not right for the fans and for the brand. Do you think that there is any hope by next gen that they might actually listen to the complaints that we are making and that they might actually do something right?
Well, there's always a chance because Xbox is so useless and so reactive to things. In many ways, I think the floodgates is opened, like I said earlier in the show, and I don't see it closing. But I think the real harm that strategy does to the brand is something that they cannot discount. And if they're seeing that, or they realize, and it really is a question of realization, we may not be privy to the data that they have or the hard numbers that they have, but ultimately that strategy is wrong. It will cause them to fail. It will cause them to fail. So if it's come to that, and you've got a leadership, and remember, you've got Satya Nadella, the bald-headed piece of shit who's running the whole thing, and that pressure, like, are you asking that someone's going to replace him? He's right at the top. So, but I do think that, look, Xbox is where it's at because a contingent of Xbox fans have shouted and sung its praises. Abdel was asking earlier, why have Xbox fans held on for 7 years? Because we saw this 2018 announcement. We thought the change was coming with all these studio acquisitions, and it was leading to a really competitive platform holder that would hold Sony's feet to the fire. And the reason why I keep making this noise is not just frustrated or an element of just kind of just relinquishing myself to the fact that Xbox has lost, but also in the vain hope that potentially they will see the obvious truth barreling towards them.
Yeah.
And I think that's what any real or true Xbox fan, I say true, I'm not the arbiter deciding what a true Xbox fan is, but I think anyone who cares, forget even Xbox, for the sake of the industry and competition, and I promise you, that is my primary concern. I don't care about Xbox. If a Sega Dreamcast came tomorrow and said we're doing a console, bye-bye Xbox. I'm looking at you, Dreamcast. I want to see you compete because Xbox didn't do it. But I think there is, obviously in any business, you have to be malleable. You have to be, you can't be close-minded, and you have to understand your market. So if the Xbox fans can actually, instead of guzzling down Satya's jizz and actually put their foot down and say what they actually believe, which 90% of them do, and actually fight for it. And I'm not talking about these weird little podcasts where they're just completely relented and just talking about it from Pony Points, which is ironic because they're an Xbox podcast. I think Xbox fans should make it very clear. And and all the people that listen to our shows, the execs that listen to the Xbox 2, they listen to these shows. 90% of them are not happy with what they're doing. So, that's the reality. Your fan base is not going to be your fan base anymore. So I hold out hope that there's hope. There's a chance, but it seems very slim. And I'm not banking on it to happen. It'd be nice.
I do believe Microsoft when they say that gaming demographics are changing and the younger audience actually wants to play in more places, is more interested in PC, is more interested in mobile gaming. And again, I do think cloud gaming is a good thing. I think Xbox's current cloud strategy is a little bit off because I think if you are a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber and you have access to cloud, I think it's a brilliant supplementary service. But I can't recommend it as the main way to play if you don't have a console or a PC. I do enjoy playing on cloud with my Fire Stick. So I recently got an Ethernet adapter for my Fire Stick. And last weekend I played like 4 hours of Starfield just in bed, and it was fucking awesome. I loved it. Like I had a really, really good time. No massive complaints. Like obviously native is better, but it was more than good enough for me to put several hours into Starfield. And I loved that. Like that's a fantastic move for Xbox, and I do really like what they're trying to do. But I think a cloud-only subscription is essential if you're going to try and grow that particular vector. But it's also really, really expensive to run, so I understand why that's easier said than done. It just, I think, like you said, there's a lot of inconsistency. There's a lot of things that they're trying right now. Like I think we're
I think the industry,
weird sort of,
I think I know what you're going to say. That
trying to figure itself out.
The industry is also in a state of flux. Sony, you have to understand, is also trying to wrangle through and weather the storm of these changes. Bear in mind that, yes, Xbox is further away with its console not doing as well as the competition. But everyone, all the players in this space are trying to figure out what these changes, because you can't ignore technology like cloud may not work perfectly now. But ask anyone who's played GeForce now, they're like, it's amazing. Like 4090 quality, it's incredible. Anyone who asks 4090, I need to try it. Just needs some time to try it. But those changes are happening. PlayStation is struggling with this console-centric only focus now. PlayStation 5 is PlayStation is a timed exclusive machine for the most part, because these games go on PC. So, like, and that's a big change, huge fundamental change for PlayStation's model as well. So, like, we're talking through Microsoft may pretend. I don't want to give them that benefit of. I don't agree with their strategy, but if they are clear about, if they have a clear roadmap on what they think they're going to do in the future, that's leading to this next console, I'd love it to be the case. Like, they have a clear strategy. All right, now we know we're going to come a year early. Because everyone's talking about them beating PlayStation to the punch with the next console, and they're going to have the software to back it up, because all these games are looking like they're going to be 2027. To talk about when not Elder Scrolls, but Fable, all of these games are going to be coming out, Gears, whatever. Yeah, you're going to go a year early, you're going to release a new console, you're going to have a handheld, and then you're going to have to reconcile all of that with your cloud stuff and your PC programs. And how are you going to do that? And no one knows that. We don't know that now, but they may have a strategy in play here. But but the whole of the industry, if you were going to ask me, PlayStation, are they going to be day and day on PC like in 5 years? I think so.
I think it depends on the title. Like they're already doing that with multiplayer. I think single player maybe. Like, so I think it's going to be case by case basis. I look at the announcement for Indiana Jones going to PS5, and I think the way it was announced, the timing that it was announced, I think was a mistake. I don't think it's a mistake to put Indiana Jones on PS5, because like we can take an educated look at the cost for Spider-Man 2 and the licensing costs that were behind that. Indiana Jones might be a little bit cheaper, being it's not a smaller IP, but it's, I don't know. It probably was quite expensive. I don't know.
The announcement was badly timed.
It was really badly timed, because I personally think that Xbox should have used the holiday period to market Indiana Jones on Xbox with Game Pass, package up all your console stuff, get lots of like really nice POS that just, or your point of sales marketing shit that just screams Indiana Jones, get all the fucking as much nostalgia hype built up around Indiana Jones as much as you can. There's no whisper of it coming to PS5 like that. They blew that fucking load pause way too soon. It was stupid for them to do that, and they shouldn't have fucking got Keeley to do it, because he loved that shit. That was really silly. Very silly.
I'm glad they kind of did it though, because it kind of shows just how loose they are with this whole thing. The fact that they even let Keeley do it is evidence of everything. Yeah, that's true. Lao Shimazaki with 1,000 yen. Good to see you, man. Because I think a lot of people don't realize how big VTubers are. Even Xbox in China main channel features VTubers. Ranting
What is
Eroski.
a VTuber?
VTuber is basically like an anime avatar that does streaming. So when they do stream, you'll see some streams where they'll animate. We actually built a VTuber for this woman who's lady, very attractive lady. She didn't need a VTuber actually, but she was going to be part of our channel, and I paid for an artist to animate and all of this stuff, the VTuber, and then they have your software that matches your facial animations or hand movements. Basically, people who don't show themselves on camera, but they animate like an avatar on screen. And typically is more anime-based stuff. So, so people can wank off to hentai kind of looking at, or anime avatars. But basically, it's Ranting Greek Gamer as animation, like interacting live. We want the real thing, baby. We don't want the animated Ranting Greek. We want the real Ilyas, baby.
Thank you.
And Mr. Eldrick
Is it kind of like what Frit does, but uwu?
Kind of like that, but yeah, kind of. But imagine him having like basically him in real life moving like this, and his avatar's moving. Which I've told him. I even gave him the number of the same VTuber artist to build that shit. Mr. Eldrick with being a member for 5 months. Thank you, man. Because Xbox marketing has always been mental to me since the 360 era. It's as if they're ashamed to advertise the console, bro. Your guess is as good as mine. I have no idea. Rodger Wilco says VTube is crack for incels. He's speaking from experience, and I was gonna mark him because he was coming at you. so some people in chat are so weird. Xbox's King says I built an AI influencer. She pulls in about 20,000 a month for me. That's crazy. Wow, you guys paid someone to do it that you could have done for free, bro. I mean, I paid for an artist to draw the VTuber. The rig is free, but you have to build it. I'm not gonna build a VTuber of myself. It's gonna look like a weird demented cartoon. But yeah, so these are challenges that Xbox has. With Halo, then Halo CE reboot will come out. If that comes out on PlayStation, then expect all the Halo games to come out on PlayStation. They'll just be timed exclusives on Xbox. But the moment Halo comes out on PlayStation, you're going to see a level of blowback from Xbox fans that will be glorious. I will sit there and I will watch the fireworks. Obviously, I'm enjoying it and pour gasoline all over it. But if Xbox do it,
I do think porting the remake would be a mistake. I don't think that's a good shout. I think Halo MCC and Halo Infinite's multiplayer, I think they do quite well on PlayStation. I think taking something like Halo CE remake, it's not a brand new experience, but I would expect certain areas and levels of CE to fleshed out, expanded upon, maybe a little bit more lore stuff like I can't remember who said it in a show the other day, but things like the Fall of Reach and Chief's origin story, essentially, like the kidnapping or the covert Oni fucked up stuff. You only really get to learn about that either in later games or transmedia, so things like Fall of Reach and books, etc. If they fleshed something like that out in the CE remake, I think it would be awesome. I think it would be really, really cool to see and explore some of that a little bit more and actually
that would be sick.
Really make it a remake rather than just a remaster.
Yeah,
putting
something different
that on PlayStation, you're effectively giving an Xbox, the Xbox audience, a somewhat new experience. If you give that to PlayStation guys at the same time, it's such a bad look, man. I don't think they should do it. I think they will. Terrible. I don't want them to. I'll get over it because again, like I care so much more.
So much about Halo. Shut the.
I do though,
something.
man. Like, Halo as an IP matters so much more to me than Xbox. Man.
I know.
Like,
Xbox as a brand is
succeed.
dwindling anyway. I want Halo. I really am passionate about Halo, and if if it's Halo reaches the idea of what I have Halo in my head, bring it to PlayStation yesterday. I agree with you. I'm just being a troll, but it would be a huge mistake.
If it will be a good, decent game with lots of multiplayer content that has a good campaign and runs well, then I have no issues if it comes on the PlayStation 5 also. Just make it a good game.
But it won't be that. That's the idealist in me saying, if at the cost of Halo being incredible, it has to come out on PlayStation, then I'm happy for it. But that doesn't need to, that's just bollocks. That's just a weird, fantastical, fictional, like, kind of threshold he needs to hit to be good. It just needs to be, it is. And I actually say that exclusivity actually drives competition and pressure within a studio internally to actually make the best version of that game. And so multiplat will cause Microsoft to be more relaxed. You think with Halo Infinite and all the bullshit that happened, remember they delayed it for a year, the graphics looked crapped and all of that pressure.
Yeah.
If it was a multiplat from the start, there's not going to be no noise. Just there would be less pressure on Microsoft and Xbox to fix that game, to make it as good as they could. And that's what the problem with multiplat strategy is. Giving a year extra for Starfield to cook? Nah, man, if it's multiplat, everyone's going to buy it. So what? Because it was competition and making sure Xbox, the smaller platform, really Xbox is, like you said, it's not inconsequential, but it's the smallest platform out of the three. So your pressure internally in your studio is to really deliver. It has to make a splash because you've got the odds against you. So you're not going to get a better Halo game because it's multiplat. You'll get a worse Halo game, in my opinion. Aaron with a £10 super chat goes, blockbusters like Gears, E-Day, Halo, Next Gen, Fable, The Elder Scrolls 6 would have been huge hits in the early 2000s, but now we have rival fans claim they'll come to PlayStation 5. Xbox Game Pass's curse is real. I don't think you can blame Xbox Game Pass for that. That's basically Xbox faltering in many different areas. But can you imagine a landscape where, forget Call of Duty, you got all the Bethesda Doom. Have you seen how good the new Doom looks? That was just on Xbox. Everyone looked at that. Like, if that was only on Xbox, everyone, even the masses would be talking about it.
Yeah.
Holy shit, this is just an Xbox game? How pissed would the PlayStation guys be? How crazy would it be that a lot of console guys would buy a Series S, even the most hardcore ones, because Doom is there. Fallout is there. Fallout's TV show's going crazy. Elder Scrolls. The Elder Scrolls would sell shit tons of consoles or Xbox consoles. Now it won't. Now, and that dream is gone. And the competition is gone. And it's really a detriment to the entirety of the industry. But that's what Xbox, we gave them. And they did some great, incredible things, including releasing the best, most favorite console of all time for me, which is the 360, responsible for the best gaming years of my gaming life so far. But at the same time, it just faltered. It didn't handle the mantle of responsibility. And that is where I bring it back to Halo. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see, man.
These timestamps are going to be hell for you. Sorry, bro.
Bro, it's all over the place. I don't even know if I should try with timestamps. But, you know, I have the same voice ringing in Ilias's ears about, is there a chance that Xbox will try and actually understand that the error of its ways? But what that requires is a leadership that has some balls, or no balls if Sarah Bond is the person, but she has some teeth in her mouth, not down there. But she just has teeth. It's just, anyway.
Oh my god, do you remember that film? I never watched that film.
No, I never watched that.
Was it called Teeth?
I think it's called Teeth.
Jesus. Yeah.
I just
so
need
glad
to.
I never watched that.
I would love to sit down in one of these meetings where, you know, Colt Eastwood sits on the table with his execs. I just want to sit down and chat to them. Just let me. I know they hate me. I know I'm an obnoxious piece of shit. I know that, but at least I'm sincere. Let me sit down on the table and talk to you about this, and you'll be like, who you to sit down with us? You're a freaking weird guy who calls yourself Septic Sauce and screams in a jacket and stuff. I'm like, shut the I know better than you do. I know better than you do. Give me all your metrics and I challenge you. Sign me an NDA and I will say to you, I'm sorry, Phil, I was wrong. If I say that, fair enough. And I'll publicly wear a toothbrush and nothing else. And I say I was wrong. But it won't happen.
Where's the toothbrush going?
In my ass.
That would hurt.
That's it would. Well, gents, that was a really good chat about the future of Xbox. Inadvertently turns into that because that's tied in with Halo. Because Phil Spencer said, well, if we lose our way with Halo, we lose ourselves with Xbox. And there's a chance, and they've done both. So they've lost their way with Halo and Xbox. So I don't know what's left. No, hopefully they will find their way with Halo. And I'm very excited about Halo. I can't wait to see more about this Halo. I'm really more excited about the future projects, not just the reboot, remake, or whatever it is. And I'm also very intrigued about the future of Xbox. I have no idea what they're doing. Like, I don't know what their game plan is, if they have one. But we'll find out in these coming few weeks, and potentially at the Game Awards as well, where they reveal whatever this new bit of hardware is. Xbox King says, Gaz, are you picking up Starship Troopers or Metaphor? I'm picking up Metaphor. Picked up Metaphor. Great game. Starship Troopers. Are you asking me that question? Did you not see my review in this channel where I edited the intro for ages? Watch my video. Check out my video on Starship Troopers. Probably my favorite game of the year so far. So yeah, really good game. What about you, gents? Let me ask you about like a little bit of gaming stuff. Ilyas, baby, talk to me. What is your game of the year so far?
Oh my god, my game of the year. That thing has fluctuated so much in my mind.
Yeah, same.
Because they have been many good games this year. So okay, so like a month ago, I would tell you that it's Black Myth Wukong on the PlayStation 5.
I need to play. Okay.
Because which I did this game 100%, found all the secrets, and I beat all the secret bosses and stuff. I did everything. But now I'm going to say Silent Hill 2 Remake.
Oh my god, another game that I need to play as well. Is that good?
It is that good. That game is bloody amazing. I love it. I have been streaming it non-stop since last week, and it is great. And I think that is going to be my game of the year. There is a new Mario game coming out next month on November 7th. Mario and Luigi Brothership. And that looks amazing also. But so far, I am saying that Silent Hill 2 Remake is my game of the year. It is really great. It is really great.
How am I going to play these games? I've got Metaphor ReFantazio. I was playing Lost Odyssey before that. I've got Phantom Liberty, which is another RPG that I need to play. I've got Star Wars Jedi Survivor to complete.
Survivor. Oh my god, you have so much stuff to play,
bro. There's no time. Like, and then you want me to make videos? I was like, oh, bro. And then I've got to. It's a good problem to have, but at the same time, it is a problem because you don't have time. And I have so many videos I want to make. Like, and you got a full-time job where you're working till like 11 p.m. sometimes this week. That was terrible.
Oh my god.
So it's just like, but God, the backlog needs working. I want to do it, but I'm so excited. Silent Hill 2. That might be my potential game of the year based on what people are saying, by the way. The way it looks and the way the people are talking about it, especially you now, the way you talked about that. I want to play that because that's a good shout. And I need to play that before the end of the year end so I can join in the conversation meaningfully. But yeah. What about you, Deadly Headley? Where's your game of the year landing?
I'm kind of in the same boat as you. Like it is like real talk, man. It it's been one hell of a year, and not in a good way for me. Like, it has not been a fun year. Life has come at me and my partner extremely hard.
Sorry to hear that.
And finding the time for things like gaming and podcasting and YouTubing and freelance work as well, because that's something I've kind of had my hand forced for a little bit this year, when basically my partner got sick about a year ago. She's slowly recovering, but she had to reduce her hours at work, so my stress levels and amount that I had to work went through the fucking roof.
I'm so
all
sorry.
of it, man, just so fucking stressed. That's part of the reason. It's not entirely the reason why Xbox Series podcast isn't going anymore, but it was honestly when Acer sort of put a stop to that, is actually a little bit of a relief. I'm not going to lie, because it just gave me one less thing to be responsible for. Okay. My backlog is growing, ever growing. My favorite game this year, I'm going to call it my game of the year 2024, because I didn't play it until the very, very end of 2023, which is Baldur's Gate 3. I think it's spectacular, because obviously it didn't come out to Xbox until the 18th of December, something like that. So I'm going to call it my favorite game this year. If I have to pick a game that has come out this year, the newest game that I have had the most fun with is Astrobot. I think it's fucking awesome. I really like it. It's not perfect, but it's really, really fun, and I'm really, really liking it. I have actually platinumed it. It's the first PlayStation game I have ever platinumed, because the last time I owned a PlayStation was PS2, so pre-trophies. Yeah, I thought that was awesome. I really want to play Space Marine 2. I am back on Starfield Shattered Space, which I'm enjoying a lot, but I haven't finished it, so I can't really give an informed opinion or give a review on it, because I haven't enjoyed it in its entirety. But so far, I really like it, so no complaints from me there. I would also, I have to recommend this. If you like Halo Infinite and you like its multiplayer, go and check out the Survive the Undead mode that is currently a limited time mode on Halo Infinite. It is it's made by the Forge Falcons. Shout out to them, they're so good at what they do. They've made a Call of Duty Zombies mode in Halo, and it is excellent. It's really, really good, and it was being tested a few months ago, and they have since refined it. They've added in some really nice music touches, so you get like a random score from Halo Infinite. Half the time it's in 8-bit style music instead of just like the original score as well, which is really cool. But yeah, it's nice. I strongly recommend checking it out. It's really, really fun.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, sounds good. That's a really different kind of taste there as well. Baldur's Gate 3 is another one, but it's not typically a game that I would play, but I've heard so many good things about it from people who have played it. There's so much mechanically, it's so freaking crazy that it
is overwhelming. If you're new to D&D, and I was this time a year ago, oh dude, I start a sci-fi D&D campaign tomorrow with some of my best friends. I'm so fucking excited. I'm really looking forward to that. It's gonna be good. I've modeled my character on a Spartan, actually, which is sick.
Nice.
I'm excited about that.
That's wicked.
Yeah, but I love Baldur's Gate 3, guys. I think it's fantastic. It is quite daunting. There's a hell of a lot to take in and wrap your head around, but it's great. It's really good.
About that game, I haven't played it a whole lot, and I will play it at some point. And I made a barbarian character, and the great thing about this game is there are possibilities to do just about anything. I think, and it's so great. I mean, I had so many choices, to do. It was a certain part where there was this enemy that was in a cage, jailed, and I had the option to kill him, to take him to his base, to make a bargain with him, to do something else. I mean, I'm just saying things that come to my head, but there are so many possibilities in this game that it is amazing.
That's the only thing that's drawing me. Like, it's ridiculous how many factors that they factor in. But I will definitely check that out one day, eventually.
Honestly, my biggest criticism of Starfield last year was the fact that it didn't deliver the whole you can do anything kind of vibe. Same way as like Cyberpunk didn't quite hit that mark of what we would consider like an innovation and leap forward in choice and consequence in RPGs, and Baldur's Gate delivered that in spades, dude.
That's gonna be wicked. There's so much to try. All right, chat. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Deadly Headley, before you go, wait, give the peoples a little bit of a rundown where they can find you.
So you can find me on YouTube first and foremost. Just search Deadly Headley. That's DEADLY space HEADLEY. I'm sure Gaz will put that link in the description and all that good shit.
Right now.
You can find me on Twitter at DeadlyHeadley _. And you can find me on Threads, which is my preferred platform, but currently least used because I don't have any people on there. But I really like Threads, so if you like Threads and you are sick of Twitter, come and find me there. But yeah, go and check out my channel. I like I said in the intro, I am a graphic designer for a living. I am a trained journalist, and I really like just writing videos and making good content and focusing on good production value. It's not perfect because I'm still learning, but I fucking love my content, and you should go and have some fun with it. If you are bored shitless on a Sunday tomorrow, go and have some fun with that. I am nearly at 1,000 subscribers, so go and give it some love, go and give it some support, like my shit, share it, etc, etc. If you don't like it, like, don't fucking dislike, just like, it's fine. I mean, you can if you want. Go and watch my shit. That's me.
Yeah, definitely check out Deadly stuff.
And I have got a video coming next week as well, which is, the title is 343 was given a get out of jail free card or something to that effect, because I'm not happy with them. So we're going to talk about that next week.
Okay. Definitely check it out. Last but certainly not least, it's Ranting Greek Gamer, baby. What are you doing? Belly dancing on screen.
Yeah, man, let's start like this. Anyway, my channel's name is Ranting Greek Gamer, and Gus has posted the link onto the chat, and you can mostly find me on YouTube because I stream all the latest games there every single day. Every single day. If you come to the chat, because we mostly speak my language, Greek. If you speak in
Turkish, they'll kill you.
English. If you speak in English, there is no problem because I will see it and I will respond, so there is no issue. So if you want to see me and come and see me play all the latest games that come out, I'll be glad to see you there. And yeah, that's where you will find me.
Absolutely. Thank you both, gents. I hope you had a great time. You guys smashed it as always. Mad love to you all. No, thank you for being here. It's my pleasure. It's honestly my pleasure. As my battery's about to die, check out us on Spotify and all of that. And I've got a couple of videos. Need to put some ponies in their place. Please smash the like button, share it out, and we'll see you very soon. And for everyone who did the super chats, also thank you so much. It's really generous. Making sure I haven't missed any. I haven't. So thank you. I am just absolutely. For people just tuning in, thank you so much. Honestly, everyone here, I really appreciate you all. Take care, and we'll see you very soon. Peace.
Bye.
Bye. Gents,